highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
Witz Marine, your authorized Mercury dealer, is ready to take care of your winterization needs. With cold weather just around the corner, be sure to get your Mercruiser stern drives drained and flushed with antifreeze. For those with outboards, it's a great time to change the oil and service the lower unit. Plus, treat your fuel for a trouble-free next season. Don't get caught this winter. It's also a great time to repower the old boat with a new reliable Mercury engine. That's Witz Marine, your authorized repower center. 823 North 11th next to Wheeler Power Sports in Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, partly to mostly sunny sky today. A high this afternoon, mid-60s north, low 70s south. We will see an increase in the cloud cover tonight. Could see a few showers as we hit through the overnight across the south. Overnight lows, upper 40s north, mid-50s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Shamrock Liquor Warehouse, 5609 Midland Boulevard, your leader in fine wines, beers, and spirits. You're listening to The Morning Rush, live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you. Don't ask me if I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Well, Matt Jones may take it to the house. The dog.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my heart, dog? Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
Even one Razorback is vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Turn it.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Good morning and welcome into halftime. It is a lovely Wednesday, 1 minute after 11 o'clock on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Great to be with you today. I'm Phil Elson with Matt Jones, Christian Johnston producing today, Fisherman Clay Henry with us for a couple of hours, Grant Hall in about 15 minutes. Good morning to you, Matt. It was an interesting night last night, certainly. Went to bed pretty much figuring everything was going to be called because just kind of felt like it was getting inevitable at a certain point, and had a show to get ready for this morning and basketball to watch tonight. And I did watch the playoff, the ESPN show for the playoff poll. So feel like we got votes that matter nationally. We got votes that matter from the 13 members of the playoff poll too. It's good to see you today. How are you?
Happy Wednesday. Yeah, I thought when that staged assassination attempt, if you remember, I said, there's your next president. I mean, he set that up. It's almost like a WCW thing, just set it up perfect. So, yeah, that was it was in the making. And then, can't really deny, I guess, Oregon #1, the first poll that came out. So it's a Big Ten. Was it a Big Ten, the first poll in the BCS? I think you had brought this up. I think it was a Big Ten. Maybe it was Ohio State or so that was #1. So the first poll in the Playoff 12 committee, Oregon, was #1.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And it does look a little weird to see the teams that very well could end up playing in the Big Ten championship game as 1 and 2. But, I mean, it is right there out in front of you for if you're the Georgia Bulldogs. If you beat Ole Miss and you beat Tennessee and you make it to the SEC championship game, I think you're going to end up #2 in the country. I don't see Oregon losing any of the games that they have to play before, at least in the Big Ten championship game. Ohio State's got maybe a couple of games on the schedule that could knock them off. Georgia, of course, has Ole Miss and Tennessee, and that's going to take care of itself. Look, if you beat the Rebels on the road and you beat Tennessee at home, considering that those two teams have tons to play for right now, well, Georgia will be just fine. It's just, I knew that this poll would just lays it out for what some of these games mean over the next 4 weeks. And then, of course, the championship games are the thing that could really end up throwing a fly in the ointment. You know, if you get an upset in one of those championship games, like for instance, let's say
Indiana beats Oregon for their first loss,
or SMU. SMU wins the ACC, beating Miami. I mean, what are you going to do with Miami at that point? One loss really didn't beat anybody that is going to end up anywhere near the rankings that matter. So that weekend will be crazy. It'll be absolutely crazy. Those championship games used to mean, like, in some cases, it felt like they meant absolutely zero, didn't they? Now they're gonna. Now it'll end up. You could end up with a situation where, let's say, Miami. I don't know what it'll look like, but Miami's not going to lose until the ACC championship game. I mean, could you legitimately, because they started fourth, they keep winning. I can't imagine that they don't at least stay in the top 4. But one loss in the ACC, I think, is enough to maybe knock you out of the top 12.
That's going to be exciting to watch because I'm with you. If you're in the SEC or if you're in the Big Ten and you make those championship games, win or lose that game, I think you're in the playoff 12. But if you're in the ACC, you're in the Big 12. I guess there's not really the Pac-12 anymore, but the ACC or the Big 12, and you make it to that championship game and lose. Could you see somebody else that didn't make it to that championship game, but even though they had the week off, they leapfrog one of those teams?
Yeah, it can happen in the SEC. Yeah, absolutely. It can happen could it happen in a couple of the other leagues? That'd be an interesting thing to be paying attention to here. You know, and you also have the group of 5 champion just hanging out there at number 12, which, you know, also lends itself to the idea of a team like SMU potentially winning a league championship. And then maybe you have a situation where, it brought it up yesterday, Boise State is one of the top 4 ranked conference champions. Therefore, they get a bye. Maybe the ACC does not. But, man, it is interesting to see the weight that Oregon-Ohio State game has when this poll comes right down to it, because that's the most important game on the schedule right now. You know, those two teams play each other. There's a 1-point differential, and they end up 1-2. You know, the Ohio State loss in that game really seems to matter a lot, that it was by 1 point.
Well, I think the most important game on the schedule this week is LSU-Alabama, because I think it's a loser goes home. And yes. Then you still have a couple games to go. That's going to be tricky. You know, Brian Kelly, I think LSU is going to get Bama. This is their best chance to get them. It's at night. It's at home. Alabama new coach, you know, Alabama has a running back playing quarterback, you know, all the things that go into it. It's still Alabama, but that's it. And then it's funny to see where does it go from there, whichever team loses. You know, what do you start doing? Do you start playing some underclassmen? Do you start kind of finagling the roster a little bit because you don't want them to let go of the rope and you're trying to build on next year? But that's a loser go home type of game.
Absolutely, and the idea of the loser ends up going home. What that means is they go to like the Citrus Bowl, or the Texas Bowl, or the Vegas Bowl.
But what's their energy like the next 3 games?
Exactly. That's not what those guys went to those schools to play for this year.
How many of them opt out? You know, how many of them got their NIL? They're like, well, I'm going to the league next year. Then you start. You know, you could start having people opt out with 2 games left in the season instead of just the bowl game.
Well, I think right now you're going to get 4 SEC teams in. Winner of Alabama, LSU is in as long as they keep winning after that. Georgia in, Texas in, Tennessee. That's kind of an interesting situation. And maybe I shouldn't say Texas is in because they still have A&M, but A&M's hanging out there. You're right, you know, right in the middle of the rankings in the I beat the Razorbacks 14 through 16 teams, A&M, LSU, and Ole Miss. You know, I mean, if it's an elimination game for LSU and Alabama, would an A&M win over Texas potentially knock the Longhorns out of the top 12? I guess I'd have a really difficult time accepting that. The idea of a 2-loss SEC team that's already in the top 12, not making it in, a little difficult to stomach. A 3-loss SEC team which would be either Bama or LSU after this weekend, yes, absolutely. I do like the idea of an elimination game here while they still have a couple of games left. Does that mean that you title it any differently? Could we title this a college football playoff elimination game on Saturday? It'd be a fun thing to do.
It's a soft opening.
It's exactly right. It's the first playoff game, happens a month before the actual playoffs happen, and it is a soft playoff opening. That's well said. It's very well said. I still remember, it's like they used to, I remember watching, it was the last regular season game of, I think it was the 89 NFL season, which was Steelers versus Oilers, and it came to the point where the winner was the AFC Central champion. So it was an ESPN telecast, and they titled it the AFC Central Championship game, which there is no such a thing, but there was that day, and so they titled it that. We absolutely need to title Saturday night in Baton Rouge, Crimson Tide versus the Tigers as a what would be the right
play-in game? Maybe?
Is it a play-in?
That's play-in.
I did like your soft opening
Yeah,
terminology.
soft.
We're going to go in the restaurant way.
There was I was watching Carson last night. It was the 81 episode, and I think you told me this, Phil. The Dodgers beat the Yankees in 81 in the World Series.
It's a strike year.
Yeah, so the guy comes up there and he's making fun of the Yankees for not being able to, play baseball. And I was like, they could have used the same thing. They're like dropping balls, running like donkeys. It's like they could have used the same. History repeats itself.
That's so funny. I didn't even realize that the 81 Yankees would have been a bad fundamental team. But Joe Kelly is doing that too. Reliever for the Dodgers. I mean, he has been trolling the Yankees. First on interviews on the field after the last game, then I think he was on one of the late night shows. He would have gone on Carson. There's no doubt. Like Joe Kelly would have gone on Carson because he's one of those guys that you never quite know what he's going to say. He would have sat there next to Ed. He would have been there cheering on Doc, and he would have exactly said the same thing to Johnny Carson.
Ed's got the best. You're right. The more you watch it, his hype man laugh. It's like he didn't know the joke was coming, but he's heard. But he goes out. You're like, yep, he's never heard that one before.
See, that's what we need C movie in the background to do every once in a while. Is just like a ha ha.
Yes. I'm a good for a laugh per show or per hour.
I got to work on my timing.
He's professional hype man and show producer at ESPN Arkansas. Yeah, a lot of time for calls and texts as we go throughout the show today. But in just a moment, we break. Grant Hall joins us after this.
Okay, I'll eat liver. Raw liver. If we win this game Saturday.
This is Halftime. Wound Wrap is your #1 resource for all things diabetes. It's now available on the Hit That Line podcast network.
What happens with insulin resistance?
When we see that insulin resistance, there's something there preventing that cell door to open to allow the blood sugar in. So that really is just breaking down and saying that our body is not using the insulin appropriately.
Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts and find it on hitthatline.com. Wound Wrap with Dr. Doug Friesen.
The long wait is almost over, Waldron. Wave Rural Connect will be opening the Waldron Zone for orders November the 18th. If you registered before the 18th, you still need to put in your product order when Waldron opens. Amazing fiber internet and phone, all from a local provider in Ozark, Arkansas, is coming to Waldron. Pre-register online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Ladies and gentlemen, Adventure Dave will be attempting his greatest stunt yet. He will jump over 100 boats, ATVs, cars, and trucks, all at Adventure Oklahoma in Roland, brought to you by Auto Finders. Here he comes now. Adventure Dave, why did you choose Adventure Oklahoma for this stunt?
Well, Tom, Adventure Oklahoma is your one-stop shop for adventure. Plus, no one else would let me jump over their boats and ATVs.
Adventure Oklahoma by Auto Finders has it all. Brand new, used, that's right. CF Moto, Arctic Cat, and Segway side-by-sides and ATVs, all with a free 5-year warranty. Only offered by Adventure Oklahoma. Plus, G3 boats, Suncatcher pontoons, and Falcon Bass boats with delivery up to 100 miles away. The lowest priced pre-owned vehicles in the area with 90 days to your first payment.
That's right. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a date with Destiny.
Yes, and what a jump it will be.
No, the jump is tomorrow. This is Destiny.
See y'all later. Well, until then, visit Adventure Oklahoma in Roland, brought to you by Auto Finders. AutoFindersOK.com.
Your journey starts here.
The best things in life never change. They just get better, like Hardee's Original Bag, just $6.99. loaded with fries, a drink, and 2 full-size favorites. A juicy charbroiled double cheeseburger, melty hot ham and cheese sandwich, or crispy hand-breaded chicken tender wrap. Choose any 2 plus fries and a drink, all only $6.99. Hardee's Original Bag, loaded with handcrafted goodness. It's the greatest meal deal for your buck. Available for a limited time at participating restaurants.
It's sad that we live in an unsafe world, but we do. Would you be able to show the police who was at your home if something was taken? Guardtronic installs alarm systems as well as camera systems. We here at ESPN rely on our Guardtronic installed cameras to keep an eye on what's going on around our building, as many of you do. Guardtronic has been serving the River Valley for over 60 years. Call Guardtronic for a free estimate so you'll be able to show the police who the bad boys are that took your belongings. License E50.
Brothers Roofing and Restoration, a licensed and insured local roofing contractor in Arkansas. Since his playing days for the Hogs, Brother Alexander has been on rooftops, many years as an adjuster, and in the past decade as a roofing contractor. He knows how to help you through the insurance process while replacing your roof using only the industry's best materials. And being a lifelong Arkansan, he'll be here to stand behind his workmanship and warranty. Call 479-353-3877 to arrange a time for Brother and his team to inspect your roof.
You will never find a boring old burger at Art's Barbecue and Burgers in Fort Smith. Try the Wild West Burger, topped with a hot link, jalapenos, and Art's hot sauce. The Brisket Burger, with tender brisket and caramelized onions on top of their hand-patted burger. Or the famous Art Attack, with house bacon, smoked ham, an onion ring, and a fried egg. There are 10 different burgers to choose from, and they're all $1 off every Saturday. Art's Barbecue Burgers and more. Rogers Avenue, next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Headed to our hotline, and Grant Hall is joining us. He is a Hall of Famer. He is our Wednesday morning guest, and we always appreciate his time here. Good morning, Grant. How are you?
I'm just fine. You guys?
Doing well. Doing well. You sounded chipper today, man. You got to be pretty excited about basketball season starting tonight. Is that why I hear the little uplift in your voice?
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to the game tonight. You know, Lipscomb is that team that Arkansas beat by 3 last year in North Little Rock without the fellow whose name I probably can't pronounce correctly, who is really good, who did not play in that game. So apparently another formidable opponent, kind of like the Fairfield Stags, who beat Arkansas's women the other night. You know, they were, 31-2 last year?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure how it's like Mike said a couple of years ago when he scheduled them, I'm sure he didn't anticipate losing 5 people to the portal, you know, and things like that. So that was obviously a great test. They beat Arkansas by 14, and tonight should be pretty good also.
I mean, I anticipate the men's team showing up and playing really well. I mean, I think that the expectations are there for a very good reason. I think this is potentially one of the most talented teams we have seen at Arkansas in a long, long time, and that's not to disparage any of the previous teams under under Muss or under Coach A or any of them. But there is a talent level about this team that definitely looks like it'll stand out. And man, I'd be surprised if they'd have to hold on for a 3-point win over Lipscomb.
You know, it's interesting. I listened to John Calipari's, I guess, a pregame and postgame the other night. You know, it was kind of an interesting week. He went to the World Series on Monday, and then he said the day before the game that they lost by 1 point to TCU, they kind of had a heart-to-heart, you know, and we're kind of going. He said usually I have one or two of those meetings a year with the team, and so now he's already had one. And I think it had to do with, and he talked about this, you know, maybe feeling they were a little bit better than they were after they beat a Kansas team that did not have Dickinson and two other players, you know, and naturally you'd feel pretty good about beating Kansas. But they got brought back to reality, I guess, a little bit. Maybe that was good for them to lose that game, in which I think they led TCU by 13 in the third quarter. You know, you play quarters in these exhibition games, and didn't score the last 3 minutes and something. And so that, you know, you'll hope that was a good teachable moment for them.
You bring up a good point right there, Grant. And you know, the first 10, 12, 15 games, what do you expect to see as coaches getting the rotation ready? Because there's going to be teaching moments. We might lose a game early because coach is doing a teaching moment. I don't think this team is going to go undefeated by any means, but we're going to be the more athletic team on the floor 9 times out of 10 when we play. How do you see, what do you want to see in these first, 10, 12, 15 games under Coach Cal?
Well, you know, he's talked about defense, and that was really good against Kansas. I mean, the way they were able to keep guys in front of them and get a lot of steals. I thought Boogie Bland was fantastic in that game. You know, didn't really see the game the other night, but there, you know, just different things like I still think rebounding is a big deal. They got out rebounded, I believe, by 1 against Kansas, and I think they had about a 5 edge against TCU. So that's still and of course we haven't seen Adu yet, and I'm not sure what his status is for tonight. There's another. He's a big guy. He's like 6'11" and listed 240. Looks bigger than that to me. And then you've got things like free throw shooting. You know, the first game was 23 out of 28, and then it was 6 out of 11. You know, against TCU, and one of those you played at home, and the other one you didn't, and that explains maybe the disparity in the numbers of free throws. But as Cal said after the first game, the right guys went to the free throw line. The right guys shot free throws, and that has a lot to do with the percentage sometimes. So there are a lot of things we're going to learn about this team as they go on. But I still think they're really good, and they got great potential.
You know, watching the women's game the other night, and I talked with Mike about it after the game, it's that you could see pockets of what they could look like when they're on, but it was just little pockets, like 3-4 minutes here and there, not a full quarter, not the full 20-minute half, and not the full game. You know, and it's a team that's really just that has been put together almost brand new. If you're looking at who's going to be getting the minutes, kind of Carly Keats and Jenna Lawrence are just the newcomer, or the returners that are getting the minutes, and everybody else is brand new. So I expect that kind of choppiness in a sport that where chemistry means so much, and I should expect the same thing on the men's side too. I don't think it'll look as bad as it might have on Monday, because I think you'll end up winning the game. But there will be that choppiness, even against lower level opponents, which really makes the games against, you know, Baylor and Illinois and Miami just very, very interesting. They always are interesting before you get into the SEC schedule, but even more so this year.
Yeah, and the women, you know, I'm afraid there are a couple of players short this year. I mean, they lost 5 to SEC schools, Phil, and they got some good players. Izzy Smith is really good. Izzy Higginbottom is really good. And I was thinking about Kiki Smith, who's a very good shooter. I think she was 4 out of 6 from 3 the other night. Higginbottom averaged 22 last year, 8th in the country, and that's what she scored the other night. But she also had 7 turnovers. And she talked about how that can't happen and shouldn't happen again. But I thought Jenna Lawrence has played well. They've got some other bright spots. I don't know that they have enough on that roster to What did you think after one game?
Yeah, I mean, you could even tell it's the 6 players got the bulk of the minutes. So I'm not sure if who it is that they trust to come off the bench as a 7th or an 8th or a 9th player right now. But I also think that's partially what this first month and a half will be about. And I think Phoenix Stojan will be a player that will get a lot of minutes too when she's eligible. But yeah, it wasn't a great start, but it's one game, and that's the way that we were even talking about that yesterday about the Ole Miss game. It is one game, but it is the ugliest game of the season. It's just not the way you want to go into a bye week, because that's all that's what you're left to remember. But man, it's all that there in front of them here. You win 2 of the next 3 games, and I think that is possible. You have to beat La Tech. You got to beat either Texas or Mizzou. Those are 2 rivals. I mean, I think the Mizzou game means a lot because you've just got this losing streak, or not necessarily a long streak because it goes back to 21, but all the lack of success against them. It still feels like it's there in front of this football team to have the kind of season where you can point to and say, you know what, we're not just better than last year, we're a good chunk better than last year.
Guys, I've thought that if Missouri were earlier on the schedule, Arkansas would have a little bit different record against them. And really, when they came into this league, I predicted they'd go 5-5 against Missouri the first 10. People said, you're crazy. Arkansas is going to win 8 games out of 10. Well, I think they won 2 or something, right? Or it hasn't been nearly as good as 5-5. And a lot of times you feel like by the time you play them, you're beaten up or the season's gone away, and it's just not the optimum time on the schedule. But it needs to be this year, regardless of what happens in these next 2. That's a game Arkansas needs to play well in and kind of establish that.
Grant, big weekend. UGA, the UGA Bulldogs traveling to Hotty Toddy to play Ole Miss Rebs, and then again LSU at night hosting the Crimson Tide. Kind of see, I got both home teams winning this game. That's Ole Miss and LSU. How do you see both those 2 biggest games in the SEC? How do you see both those games going this weekend?
Yeah, I think last time I went with LSU at night, they won it. I would go with you on that. The other one, I would be tempted to go Georgia, really, on that one.
I think Georgia, Phil said, and I tend to agree with them, Georgia won't lose a game in the regular season again. I think if they are to lose one, though, this is the one that is going to kind of be a hiccup. And if Ole Miss can keep it close early, their talent that they have, Ole Miss is just as talented as any team in the country.
Yeah, and Jackson Dart was really good last week. We saw that. Do you think he's that good, Matt, or did Arkansas help him?
Well, we didn't know. I've never seen a team before. Grant, Phil, and I were talking. It's like if we're playing basketball and you have a guy, like even if it's open gym, I don't care what it is. A guy hits 2 threes back-to-back times down the court. You know what we're going to do? We're going to cover this dude and not let him shoot a dang three-pointer. We didn't cover the guy. It's like, what? How do you let a guy have 5 touchdowns? You got to have somebody has to step up and say, hey, guys, somebody else can beat us, but this kid can't beat us.
Like that kid remember the Cotton Bowl game for Missouri who scored 4 or 5 touchdowns, Toby something, and I don't think he'd done much all year. Sometimes a guy gets hot like that.
Yeah, sometimes it happens.
It's wait a minute, you're the second teamer. We don't have to cover you,
Part of my worry for these next 3 games is – you have what happened last year, and I feel that's partially about the lack of leadership amongst the players. But then, the coaches have to be able to motivate and get them to get out there and play. You can't get blown out in your last 2 SEC games, and I don't expect that to happen this time around. But it's like I'm kind of you get like I believe Georgia wasn't going to lose another game because I think Kirby Smart is a master motivator. Along with the idea that they just have a ton of talent. If Beck keeps throwing interceptions the way that he is, they may lose one of these next 2. But I think Kirby Smart is the best motivator in college football. And I feel like you're going to find out if Sam can motivate the team to play a heck of a lot better than last year's version did at the very same time last year.
Yeah, they have to play in such a way that they keep the fans involved and keep them there in their seats through 60 minutes, unlike the Ole Miss game. So, and I don't know what the quarterback situation will be. Singleton had some nice moments in there, but he also had some moments where you could tell he hadn't played that much. And I mean, Matt, how do you think we'll see Talon in that game?
If he's healthy, I do. You got we'll just see if he's healthy. I think, but it comes back to the point we were talking when he was hurt, and we said, well, 80% of Talon Green's probably better than what we got. You know what? I think our backup is better than 80%. So if he's hurt, I have no problem giving the backup a chance to see what he can do, because the 2 times I've seen him in meaningful action, talking about Singleton, he's done what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, give Arkansas. I saw where Bale. He's nominated for an award, right? He's averaging 48 yards per punt this year, but doesn't have enough punts to qualify for, I guess, the number you need to be ranked number 1 in the country. Or
yeah,
way
they
up there in the
nominated him
country.
for the Burlesworth. He's the only
right.
He's the only punter on the
Award.
list. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But I guess I would have expected that he'd punted a few more times.
Yeah.
But, hey, there was one thing I needed to ask you last year. And by the way, Sam did give an update because he's on the teleconference this morning about injury updates on Talon Green, and Jaquindon Jackson says that they still don't know his availability, either one of their availability for next week. I got Scotch tape on my lips.
You did something I would do.
But he says there was a sprained knee for Green, sprained ankle for Jackson. And, it's still up in the air, but you're 10 days away from the next game, Grant.
Yeah, and he has said that Russell should be fine also, but we saw that he wasn't in that game where he only had, 2 carries for 4 yards, I think, after the big game against Mississippi State. So if you could have all of those guys or most of them healthy, that'd be a big deal also.
I can be honest. I think they need Jackson. I think they need Green for these last 3 games. I mean, those were
all hands on deck, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And there's one last thing I needed to ask you about. I saw did Rory McIlroy just rebuild his swing over a 3-week period? Now, I just saw a headline. I didn't look this up or anything. And I know there aren't baseball players that are trying to rebuild their swing over the course of a season, because you don't have 3 weeks to do that. What goes into rebuilding a golf swing?
Well, I think what goes into it is he's had some close, heartbreaking near misses in majors the last couple of years, and is trying to figure out a way to get a little bit better. And I'm like you, Phil. All I saw was just partial video. It looked to me like maybe he's taking the club back more inside. It looked really weird. It didn't look like his swing at all. So good luck with that. If he's going to make a change like that, good luck making it work. But I guess is he involved in one of these silly season events coming up, I think, this year? By the way, someone said yesterday they weren't sure Tiger was going to play in either the year-ender thing or that father-son, but I'm sure he's going to play in that this year.
I thought he would do the father-son thing, at least if he's able.
Yeah, if he's able, can ride a cart.
Grant, we'll leave it there. I appreciate
All
your
right,
time
guys.
on these Wednesdays. Thanks a lot.
Okay, see you.
Thanks, Grant.
It's Grant Hall with us each Wednesday on Halftime. And I've seen ball players make just little changes to their swing or the way that they're standing, or how upright they might be or how crouched over they might be. But I never looked at it. It's never been a complete rebuild of a swing. And when I hear that term, I'm thinking you're throwing the whole thing out. You're starting from scratch and trying to get your muscle memory to work again in a way that it used to, instead of thinking about it. With baseball, it's like such tiny little changes. It's not quite ever a rebuilt swing.
Yeah, I think as you get older, you lose some flexibility. He is a world-class athlete, but you got to kind of tune it up. But that's the Hall of Famer Grant Hall. Then we got the Hall of Famer Clay Henry. I mean, it's a Hall of Fame Wednesday today, Phil.
I mean, you're in the Hall of Honor. I'm just over here just kind of facilitating everything and trying to rip the Scotch tape off my lips at some point.
We're just changing our swing plane.
Yeah, we're also going to open up the phone lines for anybody that wants to hit up with us. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts here on Halftime. And we'll be right back after the break.
I hate rude behavior in a man. Won't tolerate it.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Are you ready to build your company's dream team? Just like in sports, finding skilled players is essential for success. With Robert Half's winning combination of specialized recruiting professionals and award-winning AI, we'll help you find the MVPs and key role players who will have you hanging banners in the rafters. Because in business, it's all about having the experienced team on your side. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
This is Coke Zero Sugar. Could I be the best Coke ever? Try and taste with your ears. Hear those bubbles? Imagine them tingling on your tongue. Fizzy deliciousness. Listen to that cascading liquid. A mouth-watering waterfall. Irresistibly tasty. Zero sugar. Crisp, refreshing, and ice cold. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
If you're interested in continuing your involvement in high school athletics and want to make some extra money, what better way to do so than by becoming an official? For information on how you can give back to student athletes in Arkansas, please contact us at 501-955-2500. Again, that's 501-955-2500. The Arkansas Activities Association is looking for sports officials, and you may be the answer.
Finally, football season. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria is your #1 place to watch Arkansas and Monday Night Football. During Monday Night Football, $5 refillable beer cups for only $2 refills. Prizes for each score and at the end of every single quarter.
Can you believe that they've had the same great pizza since 1996? That's nearly 30 years.
Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. You'll get the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
The long wait is almost over, Waldron. Wave Rural Connect will be opening the Waldron Zone for orders November the 18th. If you registered before the 18th, you still need to put in your product order when Waldron opens. Amazing fiber internet and phone, all from a local provider in Ozark, Arkansas, is coming to Waldron. Pre-register online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson. We're at Wheeler Power Sports in downtown Fort Smith. Aaron, what's going on this month?
We have new Polaris units on our lot, such as the Ranger XD 1500, the Sportsman 6x6, and the Razor Pro S. We have discounts here for the 2024 Polarises that have up to $6,000 off the original price. If you guys have any questions, call me or text me at 479-783-5822.
Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
The guilty undertaker style, once more from the pride to silver saxophones, the lights of confusion. All the crack bells and washed up homes flowing through my face with scorn, but it's not the way I wasn't born to lose you. I want you, I want you, I want you so bad. Honey, I want you.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
You know, I really appreciate our producers here on Halftime. And we have a couple of them. We're the only show on ESPN Arkansas and Hit That Line that use two producers during the show. We get Seaburger Movie Unit for the first 2 hours, and then C45, Colton Little. They are not related. They just share the same first initial. But I feel like they could potentially follow us around and be hype men at some point. I think that would be very helpful. So let's see if this works out. Although I don't think it works out Friday. Unfortunately, it won't work out Friday for me, but Matt, it will for you. I miss Friday's show here on Halftime because I'll be doing the play-by-play for the Arkansas women's game, which is a screaming kids morning game, 10:30 Friday against Texas A&M Commerce. So, I mean, Christian's got to be in the station. He's got other things to worry about. He's going to be producing the morning rush, and then there's halftime and everything. So I get no hype man for my game. All the hype will be on the show on Friday with you, Matt. So congratulations. Give him a script to, say things to make you feel good.
We do have some mighty fine producers. That's very true. But your boy Unit, he's going to be an attendee at the game tonight. I was just, we were talking in the last commercial break. I don't have SEC Plus. I don't know all the listeners out there, but I will not be able to watch the game because, I got the SEC Network, but not the Plus. So I'm going to get all my information tomorrow from the Unit because he's going to be up there with his eyes on the show.
I'm going to try to help you out. I think I might. I think you might have. I don't know if you have the Plus or not, based upon your YouTube membership, your YouTube TV membership. I don't know. But hey, all you need is C-Movie to just record the game for you and then email you or text you the file that you can study early in the morning when you wake up and pull your phone up.
We'll see Maverick. He's got. Oh, go ahead, Maverick.
I'll be posting updates throughout the game.
Yeah, he's got basketball in his blood.
He's going representing the station. He ain't going as a fan, right?
No, I'm going as a representative of ESPN Arkansas.
It's a business trip.
Where did the F in ESPN come in there?
I don't know.
I heard an F got thrown in there for a moment. Pretty sure I heard an F.
I could give a name to it.
I'm sure. Yeah, some people have thrown an F in there on ESPN Arkansas, or just the overall ESPN. Yeah, I think you might be able to watch the game. I'm not sure, but Justin says
I'll check.
Justin says if you have YouTube TV, you should be able to watch the Plus.
Okay,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. That's how I'm going to watch. I'd love to be at the game because I want to. I never know how many of the men's games I can go to because I'm always with the women's team. But I always enjoyed going to the games. Always, no matter what, when Coach A was there, when Muss was the coach, it's because we just have this great building and this great fan base that knows how to get loud and is really fired up for when you get a chance to see your team. Now, I don't know if the place will be packed out the way that I guess I expected it to because I looked on SeatGeek and there were $6 tickets. So I don't know what the demand is for tickets tonight.
School night, late game, maybe not as big as a Friday night game. What is Lipscomb? What are they supposed to do this year? Are they going to win their conference? Do they have any talent?
They are picked to win their league.
Okay, there you go. You go.
They play in the same league as UCA does.
So they got a chance to make the NCAA tourneys. If they win their league, they win their league's tournament, they get in the tournament. Yeah.
Yes, they do. That is right. And they've got 5 or 6 guys that were part of that team that pushed the Hogs at Simmons Bank Arena last year in North Little Rock to a 3-point win. That should have been one of those games that we knew we're not really about to have the kind of season that we thought we'd have with an exhibition win over Purdue and a big win over Duke, which had happened 2 weeks before.
Will be there too.
45 will be there too.
Tonight.
You're right, Phil. We bought into that win. I never bought into the win at Purdue. I know some people did, but we bought into that win. I started to buy into that win at Duke. But if you remember, we got Filipowski in foul trouble. He didn't even play that game. If you kind of look at that game, it's like they were a little bit off. The crowd was going. If we had to play them on a neutral site or anywhere else, but that game kind of gave me a little belief because you knew the talent Duke had.
Well, part of it's also like, yeah, if you can get this dude in foul trouble, we're going to be okay. Let's see, just from the guys that played last year, they have their leading scorer from last year's game, guard Will Pruitt. They got a couple other guards that started in the game, got the starting center, and I think the guy that Grant referred to that he wasn't sure how to pronounce his name is 6'8" forward Jacob Ognisevich, who had 30 and 10 against Duquesne Monday in their win to start the season. So that's 30 points and 10 rebounds on the road for a 6'8" guy that Arkansas is gonna say have their hands full with tonight, but I don't know whether or not they will. Last year's team had their hands completely full with Lipscomb, even with a 20-point lead early or midway through the second half. They had to hang on by their claws. I don't want to see them hang on by their claws in this ball game. For the first game of the year, and I can appreciate there are going to be some games that everybody you play is coming at you because of who's coaching you and the understanding of the collection of talent that's here. So maybe there's a game or two at home that you get pushed, but I don't know. It's like you feel like they should win every game they play at home by 15 or 20 points. In these neutral site games, Baylor on Friday and Illinois and Michigan, maybe that is a little bit different on a neutral site and against much more talented teams.
Don't turn the ball over, floor spacing on offense. I think Grant brought up rebounding, free throw shooting. There's a lot of stuff that you're going to have to work on and be good at, because I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, we're going to be the more athletic team. Whoever we play, even in the SEC, we're gonna have some of the best athletes. It's how is your basketball IQ? How do you move without the ball? Can you make your teammate better? One of the hardest things to do, Phil, is to know how to get open and get to your shot without the basketball. And that's tough, especially when you have some guards that we're gonna have that are going to just be able to go by people at any time. And so, floor spacing, help defense. There's a lot of stuff you want to see, kind of the little things that go into playing basketball.
Man, but there are going to be those times. It's like I said from the women's game, and I understand. The men's team and the women's team have completely different expectations that are on top of them this year. But the way those teams are put together are not 100% similar, but there's a lot of newcomers on both sides. And so where you have those pockets of 3 and 4 minutes on the women's side where it looked like, yeah, this team, if they do this and that, they could actually, they might be pretty good. But it's the ability to actually continue that and have the depth to show that it's not just the 5 on the court at that moment. It's the 6th or the 7th or the 8th player that can be a part of that as well. I feel like there are going to be those pockets in the other direction for the men's team, even in games against Lipscomb or against Pacific or against Little Rock, where the athleticism and the excitement and the playing above the rim and all of that, that's going to be on display. But there will be choppy moments. There's just going to be some real choppy moments where just some of the stuff you're saying, not sliding over defensively to help when you need it, communication issues, fast break issues at times too. I think we have to appreciate there's going to be a lot of excitement, but there's also going to be moments where you scratch your head. I guess I wonder how long does that last? It always, with Muss, it took a while for the team to really look the way that you thought they should look, and sometimes it took until the tournament. I don't know. With Cal, I guess I'm expecting it to happen a little bit quicker, but everybody is new here except for Brazil, and even he's new to this team. So there have to be those choppy moments.
Brazil is a supreme talent. I think his basketball IQ needs to go up, but being in a meeting room with Coach Cal, being in a meeting room with, is it Kenny Payne? Learning defensive learning thing. His potential, Brazil can be a lottery pick if he wants to be. It's just can he figure it out a little bit, because the dude is uber athletic.
WT Equipment right now has the best deals of the year on all model year 2023 and select 2024 Workmaster and Boomer compact tractors. Right now, you choose 0% financing for up to 72 months or take up to $8,500 in cash back. Or for a limited time, you get a free loader with your purchase. Harvest the best deals of the year during Value Bonanza at WT Equipment in Springdale right now and at their 7 other locations. You have these offers ending on December 31st. Our number on halftime, 877-377-6963. We'll wrap up the first hour in just a moment.
Who's the big winner here tonight at the casino? Huh? Mikey, that's who. Mikey's the big winner.
This is halftime.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey and Hole Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey and Hole understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today, 479-434-2414, or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. Hickey and Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
TGI Fridays on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith now has meal deals starting at $9.99, which includes an entree, side, and fountain drink. Try their delicious 6-ounce sirloin served with seasoned fries for $15.99. The Bacon Ranch Chicken Sandwich with seasoned fries, $11.99. Chicken Caesar Salad for $10.99 and more. Their meal deals also include tasty chicken fettuccine Alfredo served with garlic breadsticks for $12.99 and a cheeseburger with seasoned fries for only $9.99. TGI Fridays, I-540 and Rogers Avenue, Fort Smith.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. I'm talking about the Limbird team. Tara Limbird, Limbird Real Estate Group, has sold over $1 billion in real estate. Tara's team can give you a cash offer in 72 hours, or use Tara's high-octane marketing to sell your home quite possibly for thousands over asking. Find out more at LimbirdTeam.com. LIMBIRD.
You never know what you will walk up on or find over the hill at the Tackle Box. For almost 50 years, the Tackle Box has been your home for hunting and fishing supplies and some of the best outdoor stories. Whether guns, ammo, fishing supplies, or home decor, come back and see them again. They even buy your old fishing tackle or guns. The Tackle Box, your sports store for hunting, fishing, firearms, and more. 3010 Street, Fort Smith, 646-3193.
The adventure starts at the Tackle Box for sportsmen just like you.
The American Patriot Promotions Gun Show is coming to Clarksville Saturday, November 16th and Sunday, November 17th. On Saturday, the doors open from 9 to 5 and Sunday from 9 till 3. The American Patriot Promotions Clarksville Gun Show is at the Johnson County Fairgrounds. Tickets are just $10 per person and only $8 for military and police. Plus, veterans get in for only $5. Children 16 and under are free. Go to AmericanPatriotPromotions.com.
Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisaw.
Walk-Ons is always a win, whether it's for a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner. Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into their mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Makes it goes. She'll make you breakfast. She'll make you toast. But she don't use butter. She don't use cheese. She don't use jelly or any of these.
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
You know, I wonder if there's a point in how we're doing the selection of the college football 12 where we might go back to computer models. There's a Twitter account that called BCS Know-How. I guess they have a website too, bcsknowhow.com. They take the old computer rankings, you know, the old formula, and redo it to right now. And what they simulate as the BCS standings, what they would be right now, are really very much different from the rankings that the human committee put out there. The only changes, and it is exactly the same, 1 through 6, same rankings. They flip-flop Tennessee and Indiana from 7 to 8. The computers got Indiana 7. The humans have Tennessee 7. And then they had a little change in 11, 12, and 13 between Alabama, Boise State, and SMU. But the computer model is really quite a bit similar to the human model, Matt.
Well, does anybody out there, seriously, like this is my whole thing. Does anybody in their right mind seriously think that Boise State or SMU would beat Ole Miss, LSU, or Texas A&M? Like, you kind of, do you think, yeah, maybe, or you're like, no, I don't think BYU.
There's part of me that thinks it's like if they were to play 10 times, that 9 times out of 10, I'm going the Hugh Freeze route.
I see. But that's so I like it. I think sometimes we get enamored with the emblem, you know, the name instead of the record, because you're like Indiana, well, Tennessee, you know, but I just think the talent. I think if Boise State played Alabama, that there's no way Boise State beats Alabama. I think if SMU played LSU, I don't think there's any way. I mean, if every team has all their bullets, you know, if we're all healthy and everything.
Well, you know, there's our man Bill King is a guy that would much rather go back to the BCS. We got Christian Springdale, Andy, and Mountain Home texting in positive things about the BCS. Chris misses the BCS. Andy and Mountain Home said the BCS never got it wrong. Maybe the issue wasn't just that it was a computer model. It was that it was only 2 teams that got to play for the championship, and there was no playoff involved in it. I do think at some point we get off the model of human polling, because that's why we did the BCS to begin with, is that it felt weird to have all these disparate national championships that were all selected by humans with biases in their brain. And there still are those biases in everybody's brain amongst those 13 members of the committee, even if they kick out an athletic director when that guy's school comes up, or a conference commissioner when a school in that conference comes up. There's always those biases. There is not a bias. Well, the bias can be built into the equation, but I think that might be the way to go eventually.
Any team in the top 6, all right, who do you think, Phil, in the top 6 does not make the final, who does not make the playoff? So one of these, I know there's going to be some change, but one of these teams that's in the top 6, they're not going to make it.
The only one I can think of, there's 2 of them that I think that I'm thinking of here. Miami, if they lose in the ACC championship game, and Texas, maybe.
Let's go Hogs.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The Hogs have to beat Texas or Florida or Kentucky, and then they got to lose to A&M. Let's get that thing done, right? 877-377-6963. Fisherman Clay Henry, the Hall of Famer, is joining us right after this.
When you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. But you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
At AOG, our main goal is to deliver reliable energy to your home safely. And keeping our team members, customers, and community safe starts with awareness. Natural gas has a distinctive, strong odor, often compared to rotten eggs or sulfur. If you smell gas, leave your home immediately. Go to a safe location and call 911 in addition to AOG. Remember, if you smell gas, act fast and always call 811 before you dig. To learn more about natural gas safety, visit AOGC.com. AOG, energy for life.
Today is the day. After countless hours of research, cutting back expenses, and 9 months of anxiously waiting for her, today is the day you finally bring home your new car. It's also the day to protect her with an auto policy from Shelter Insurance. Our policies are competitively priced and include new car replacement coverage if anything were to happen to your new baby.
See Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
This is Daryl Johnston with Hashtag Managed IT Services. We are excited to now be part of AAA Business Systems. Hashtag will continue to handle every IT need your business will have, and now, as part of AAA Business Systems, we can handle all of your document printing and storage solutions. Together, we have the expertise to meet all of your office technology needs. Find us online at AAABM.com or call us at 471-1771.
When you need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, partly to mostly sunny sky today. A high this afternoon, mid-60s north, low 70s south. We will see an increase in the cloud cover tonight. Could see a few showers as we hit through the overnight across the south. Overnight lows, upper 40s north, mid-50s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell. Ready to serve. KERX Paris Fort Smith. You're listening to ESPN 95.3.
Touchdown, Arkansas! How did he get that wide open?
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you. Don't ask me if I'm all right. What can't they dominate? And we're not doing it.
You're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Well, take it to the house.
You said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my heart, dog? That's all, man.
I have zero respect for saying no mock at halftime.
Name of one Razorback.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Back on halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. The sun is shining brightly outside my studio windows. Also outside our studio windows at ESPN Arkansas headquarters. A beautiful Wednesday afternoon, 1 minute after 12. I'm Phil Elson with my partner Matt Jones, and Kristen Johnston is producing the show. Basketball season begins tonight. Crossover season is here. Matt, if I were to put you on the spot, if I were to ask you, you have the ability to watch either an Arkansas football game or an Arkansas basketball game, and you can't watch both. What are you putting on?
Who's the opponent? Would be my question. Can I ask a question?
Let's see. It'll be Arkansas versus Ole Miss football. It'll be Arkansas versus Alabama basketball.
I don't want to see that Arkansas. I turned the game off in the middle of the second quarter. I don't know about – I can't watch – when Dr. Charlie said, I left in the third quarter, I was like, I beat you. I can't – it physically hurts me to watch us get our ass whooped like that, and that's what happened. I mean, that was just a beatdown.
So
I don't want to see that again.
The answer is basketball. Let's bring on the Hall of Famer, Clay Henry, one and only Clay Henry. We always appreciate him with us on a Wednesday. Clay, could I ask you the same question? Would it be a basketball or a football game with those two opponents that you'd rather watch?
I think I would watch them both, but I mean, I know that's not the question.
saw something really interesting, a setup, and this is these people, they have more money than I've got, obviously, but they've got a theater room with 3 big screens in kind of a semicircle with this huge sectional between it. You can lay around, lounge back, or whatever. And I think we had Arkansas and LSU on the center 70-inch TV, and on the left 70-inch TV we had Texas and Georgia. And then on the right, I think my little buddy, 8-year-old Wyatt, was playing PlayStation against one of his friends that was in another community, which is just, that's bizarre to me.
Of course, he wants everybody to be watching him play the video game.
Oh, we didn't. He knew that. We've had our discussion on that, and yeah, I actually played him last year in PlayStation, and I had no idea how to run the controls, and I kept sacking him, and he just unplugged it.
So that's just called talent to play. You didn't even know what you were doing.
I didn't know what I was doing. I was just scrolling the ball as fast as I could. It's like maybe something will work, and it did apparently.
It's like the only way for some sons to beat their father in something. Because if I went outside and I told my son Gabe, and he's the one who's playing baseball now, I'd be like, all right, buddy, pick up that bat. I'm going to pitch to you, see if you can hit this. Of course, I mean, the first pitch is coming inside, on his hands, of course, because that's how you pitch. But he could crush me at baseball on the Xbox. I'd have no chance.
Yes. Well, it was, but yeah, that's what I would do. I'd try to watch them both. And I mean, I guess that, you've seen those sit-ups where the big TV is sitting on top of the little, the little TV is sitting up on top of the big TV or whatever. I'm pretty good at hitting back or, return or whatever and switching back and forth. And I got to admit, football, there's an awful lot of dead time, as far as now watching 2 basketball games at the same time. I don't think I can do that. There's just too much action. But I'm like, Matt, it's the, what's the magnitude of the game? How is the team playing? If the game gets out of hand, you lose interest. And, I'm in a different stage of life now where there's more games being watched at home than live and in person. I went to the Ole Miss game, and I'll go to the Texas game. I don't know if I'll go to the Louisiana Tech game, but I'll watch them, find a place to watch them. But basketball, it's one of those deals. Well, the game gets out of hand, you can move and do something else at the same time. I type lies while I watch games.
There you go. Now, I would not do well in that whole theater setting, because Matt can attribute. He knows this, because if I'm ever in the station with him like I was yesterday, I don't think either of us ever sat down. I'm like a nervous. I never realized I was this kind of a person, that I can't sit down if I'm watching a game on television. If I do sit down, it's probably just for 3 or 4 minutes and then get back and stand up again. Like the World Series, when I had that on, I don't think the couch got my butt on it once.
So I'm not very good watching in a group, say in that kind of a setting. And I'll tell you why, is because I've watched in press boxes for so long that I've been in antiseptic settings, where there is not any, there's nobody distracting me. There's nobody talking to me. There certainly isn't any cheering in the press box. So, like rude comments about coaching or second guessing, all that stuff, that, that's a distraction to me, because I really want to pay attention and want to kind of zero in. It's been interesting to watch, games with my wife, where we're on the couch together, we're watching, and, she's the son of a football coach, and so she's advanced in how she watches a game, but it's still, okay, I'll explain that. And, the rules change, and that's one of the things that we talk about, because from one year to the next, the officiating changes, how they interpret. It sure seems like how they're interpreted targeting has changed, so we've discussed that a lot. But I do like to watch in almost total silence.
Shut up! I'm watching the game, for crying out loud. That's what I think. That's what I can be like with my kids sometimes.
I don't do that.
Well, I'm not mean or gruff or anything. I would be like, shh, Just give them a very quick shush. The shush usually works with kids, at least.
Well, you can do it with kids. You don't put your hand up, or you don't shush your wife. You just don't do that. Now, maybe some people do, but I have too much respect for her to do that.
I might have, I don't know if I yelled, but I think I was, you go to a Super Bowl party where your team is playing and be like, you know what? Give me my own room, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
I did get my own room for the Steelers Seahawks Super Bowl. And they did not lock the door, nor did they pad the walls, but I could have used it. Let's go to the phones. We got Charlie here, 877-377-6963. Charlie, if you had a choice, you watching football or basketball, and you can't watch both.
Well, I mean, see, Phil, I am exactly so I can use the same excuse Clay and Matt did, because it's not really an excuse. It's about the situation. It's about who they're playing. And, when what happened the other day against Ole Miss happened, Phil, I'm sorry. I'd have a really hard time keeping my eyes on that. I will say this. My first love was basketball. But, man, I've gotten to where I can't. It's difficult either way for me. I don't watch a lot of regular season NBA, but I love college basketball in the regular season. It's tough. It depends, Phil. It really does. Right now, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with this basketball team, but I do think it's going to take some time for them to, obviously be a finished product. I mean, even tonight, there will be some things that we look at and go, what were they doing there? I think we'll see some of that tonight. So I guess if I had to choose, if you put me up next to the football, probably, but it's a really close call. So anyway, but I will say this: you guys touched on the top 25, I guess some, or the top 12. But let me ask you this, Phil, on Army. I know their strength of schedule. I think this is playing a big part in how this is done, right? So if they were to win out, obviously they got to go to Notre Dame. If they win that game, how can you keep them out of the top 12? If they were to beat Notre Dame on the road.
I think part of it is just where you start in the poll. It is going to be impossible for Army. I don't even know when that game is. It's like, can you make up the 13 spots in the poll? That's called leapfrogging other teams, which means that they're probably going to have to lose some games. I just don't know if I see that Army can make it, even undefeated. I think it's awfully difficult. It's the same with Mizzou. Like, they're in the rankings, so is Clemson, but to get into the 12 when you're in the mid-20s, that's tough to make it there.
I think you just have to assume that their strength of schedule in the eye test is that they don't belong. I mean, there's nothing against Army, Navy, Air Force, those teams, but when we watch those games, we see their deficiencies as far as, the overall talent. How will they match up? And I think that's what they do. That's what the committee is tasked to do. And it's not any different with 12 than it was with 4. And when you looked at Florida State at the end of the year, they don't belong. And that was harsh, but that's reality, and that's what you have to do if you're the committee.
See, like, Army has the 133rd ranked strength of schedule on the ESPN FPI rankings. That's out of how many Division I FBS teams? Like 130. So that's right near the bottom. In fact, it might be the actual bottom in terms of strength of schedule. So that's just really difficult to overcome, even with a win over Notre Dame. And Notre Dame's ranking is 15th overall. So I can't imagine that actually happens for him. It's unfortunate for Army, but I mean, that can happen when you're scheduling the American Conference. That's right. Charlie, good to hear from you, man. Always 877-377-6963 to get with us. The worst strength of schedule in the top 12 is Indiana at 103. But they have beaten the crap out of every team they've played. So it's like, well, if you're playing that strength of schedule, then you should be winning games by 21 points, 30 points. That's the style points that we've talked about, and it certainly goes into Indiana being ranked where they are.
Yeah, they're gonna get their chance. I mean, it's gonna play out, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is it all does play out. It all does play. I just don't think you'll see a team that's in the 20s that really is able to get into the top 12. The only team really here that would have a shot to make it would be Clemson. And Clemson, no, not Clemson, sorry, Colorado. They're ranked 20th. But they're in a place where if there's a loss, I think by Iowa State or by Kansas State over the next few weeks,
is BYU in that division too?
Yeah, BYU is undefeated, so they're in first place.
Gotcha.
Colorado could end up making the Big 12 championship and then making the playoff 12 by winning that game and getting a bye too.
This has always worked differently than, say, the AP and UPI polls. And I like it in that they can decide to fix what they think are mistakes in their judgment as they see more. The old days of the polls, if you got to week 7, 8, 9 and you were undefeated, you didn't go anywhere unless you lost. The teams pretty much stay. In other words, it's like, okay, we've got them there. They don't deserve to be moved down because they're still winning. And that was error, but that's the way the polls work. This is not that way. If they see something that changes their mind, even though a team might still be winning, they may decide, well, they just don't have it, or they have slipped a little bit.
That's what happened last year with Florida State.
Exactly.
They didn't get in. They didn't get in because they didn't have their quarterback. That was the only reason, just because they did not have their quarterback.
November 23rd, Ohio State versus Indiana.
Yep.
You know,
that's what I'm saying. It's going to play out. And there may be that one of those teams is disqualified because of the way they play in that game. You know, my guess it'll be Indiana, but I could be totally wrong.
We get a text from Joey. He thinks that if Army beats Notre Dame and goes undefeated, they'll get in. I told him I thought Boise would get in if they keep winning, even with one loss and Army undefeated. He thinks they'd both get in. But we're not in a world where there's going to be two group of 5 teams that make the playoff 12. That's not
reality.
That is not what the college football playoff was designed for. There'll be one group
Were you
of 5
surprised that Alabama is comfortably in the top 12 right now with those 2 losses?
I guess it's because of who the losses came to. You know, like thinking a loss at Vanderbilt isn't like a bad loss, but comparatively,
it's just 2 SEC losses, though.
Yeah, comparatively it is.
This is an old line, but this isn't your grandfather's Vanderbilt.
Well, it's like I think sometimes they do vote for the emblem. I think they're voting for the elephant right there. I think if that was a different team that lost to Vanderbilt, I don't think if it was any other team in the SEC, not Alabama, not Georgia, not Texas, they lose. Kentucky would have had those 2 losses. They wouldn't be in the top 12.
Yeah, they've got some cash for
which it's
going
understandable,
to Wisconsin.
right? It's understandable.
It's a Big Ten team. They got some cash for going on the road and slapping around a Big Ten team. I'm not sure how good Wisconsin is, but they got some cash for that. And that first quarter against Georgia earned them a lot of cash. But they got their chance. They're the LSU Alabama winner is going to get a lot of cash with the committee, and that's my word. They don't get any cash, obviously.
Well, they get a lot of cash.
Yeah, but it's I really like what I see, and this is just an exercise that they have shown. Okay, we're capable of doing this, and this is our first try. We're going to keep working and keep trying. You know, I spent some time a few weeks ago with Bill Hancock, the Where Are They Now, in the next Hogs Illustrated. The one I guess that probably is people are getting in the mail today and tomorrow is a 2,000-word interview with Bill Hancock. And I think that what I've seen, the selection committee has done pretty well through the years. And I bet you they do pretty well in this setting too.
877-377-6963 when you want to get with us on Halftime. Remember that your Arkansas hunting license is your license to friendship, family, and fun. Keep our state's tradition alive and get your license at huntnatural.com. Quick break. We'll take your phone calls, get through some texts in just a moment. Stay with us.
Yo, Adrian, it's me, Rocky.
This is Halftime. Don't miss out on hog reaction after every Razorback football game. Brought to you by Bud Light. Also presented by Black Hills Energy.
That's one of the reasons I love Travis Williams. I think he's able to take away what is something this team does well. Well, you know what? Travis Williams is usually, most of the time, he's able to take that away. Then teams got to go to their B plan, their C plan, and then you really see the depth. You see if they're talented enough, because everybody can have a plan A.
Only on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Valley Family Dental, formerly known as Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nice work to give all of their patients better lives with a better smile. Valley Family Dental, now offering same-day crown service. Mention you heard this ad on ESPN Radio at your next appointment and receive a free bleaching kit or $100 off in-office accelerated whitening. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
Fall is here, and that means cooler weather, football, and family, which makes it the perfect time to visit Southern Tire Mart, your family's #1 tire store. Southern Tire Mart is your trusted partner for top quality tires, professional services, and competitive pricing. Visit us in Fort Smith at 9700 Highway 271 and let us ensure your vehicle is ready for anything fall brings your way. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. We keep America rolling.
Remember the classic Massey Ferguson tractors, straightforward, dependable, tough as nails, and easy to run? It's those classic models that inspired the Massey Ferguson 2600H series, as durable and reliable as the classics, with up to 74 horsepower and more comfort so you can work harder. The Massey Ferguson 2600H series. It's everything you want and need in a tractor. See one at Bush Machine and Tractor Company or visit bushtractor.com to learn more.
The long wait is almost over, Waldron. Wave Rural Connect will be opening the Waldron Zone for orders November the 18th. If you registered before the 18th, you still need to put in your product order when Waldron opens. Amazing fiber internet and phone, all from a local provider in Ozark, Arkansas, is coming to Waldron. Pre-register online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Hi everybody, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all we do is keep you rolling. If you're needing a used car, we've got them. Everything from the most affordable cash cars to road ready certified with warranty. The best used cars your money can buy. And we've got a finance option for everyone, whether you have great credit and you're looking for the best rate or you're needing to build your credit with a reputable lender. We've got you. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center. All the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath.
Wes, how many people can a large pizza feed?
About 4.
So I should tell Cousin Jeff 1.
Oh, wow. He's a big eater.
The biggest. He once got kicked out of an all-you-can-eat diner because they ran out of food. How many can a small pizza feed?
I'd say 2.
Our small pizza at $15 is a meal for 2? We should advertise this. That goat'll hunt.
Dog.
What you call me?
That dog will hunt.
Wes, dogs are man's best friend. Goats are the true hunters.
Goats?
Billy Goat Jr.'s Grammy was trained to chase squirrels, cats, birds, and rabbits. We could hear her for miles through the brush. And she'd circle them right to us.
You're not serious.
As serious as a meal for 2 for $15.
You're an interesting cat.
What you call me?
A meal for 2 for $15. Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Moving to the country, I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches. I'm moving to the country, I'm gonna eat me a lot of peaches. I'm moving to the country, I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches. I'm moving to the country, I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches. And if I had to move away, I'd be tears every day. The sun soaking roses in the shade.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
All right, we got Brian in Ozark with us on hold here. He called us just as we were going into the break. He held through the break, so we'll reward that patience. Good afternoon, Brian. What's going on?
Hey, not much. How y'all doing?
Good, thank you.
Hey, I got a question and a comment. My question would be that after Arkansas got beat by Ole Miss, there were a lot of people that called in on Center Action, and they were upset that Lane Kiffin ran up the score on Arkansas. Yet, you know, Arkansas did the same thing to a hapless Mississippi State team. So, I mean, I don't get that. Lane Kiffin did it. That's what he does. You know, get over it, right? But my other question would be, you know, Texas is a 21-point favorite over Florida this week. When they come to Fayetteville, they're probably going to be at least a 21-point favorite over Arkansas and Fayetteville. So if that happens, in your opinion, if Texas beats Arkansas by 21 plus, is that the end of Sam Pittman era, or what do you think? And I'll hang up and listen.
You know, I think that would have a lot to do with what happens against La Tech and against Missouri. But I do wonder if you end up with the same kind of three-game stretch that the team finished with last year, if Sam survives that. Now, I do see, I mean, there was a report on On3 today. One of the journalists at On3 said sources telling him, and who knows who the sources are, that Sam Pittman is no longer on the hot seat. So that to me would mean that he's safe already. And I just kind of expect that the last three games would have a lot to do with it.
You don't want a 49-7 game against Texas. I think the Hogs are going to play better. I said this 2, 3, 4 weeks ago that they're going to play better against Texas than Ole Miss. So I think we'll be all right. So let's say and I did say something about Petrino. They should have taken a knee on it. That 100%, that was already brought up. If you beat La Tech, you beat Missouri, win your bowl game, that's finished the season on a 3-game win streak. He's going to get an extension for that.
That's true. Yeah. And honestly, like if they beat Louisiana Tech, they win 2 of the next 3. Then go into a bowl, win the bowl game.
I don't know if there's 8 wins, right?
Yeah, I don't know if there's an extension or not coming at that point, but you're definitely safe at that point. Win 2 of the next 3, you're fine. You win 1 of the next 3. I think some of it has to do with how they perform, even in losses against Texas and Mizzou.
If you get beat 49-7, like what the last two games last year to Missouri and Auburn was like 38-12, both games type thing. Yeah. If that happens again and the offense looks anemic and the defense isn't tackling against Texas and Missouri, I think and you lose both those games by 20 plus, I think it's time to make a change.
Yeah, I think the eye test, body language, everything. I mean, I think you see what you see, and you have to believe that Hunter Yurachek he watches everything. Everything's on the table. Everything is week to week.
Clay, what do you think? We talked a little bit about this. I think that everybody's going to be intact. I think Sam Pittman's going to be our head ball coach next year. Now, I don't know if if it's a health reason, then I get it, but I think he'll be our ball coach. I think Petrino's going to be the OC. I think Travis Williams will be the DC. We have a lot of guys in this 2 deep that are going to be coming back next year. It's can we get some guys in the portal? I think year 2, look at Colorado in year 2, what they're doing up there as they kind of understand what they're doing. Taylen Green in this offense getting bowl practice, getting spring ball practice, being able to sit in a meeting room with Bobby Petrino, I think he's going to be 10 times better next year.
Continue to build in your lines, both sides of the line, and that's what this league is all about. We see it week to week. Sam Pittman talked about it in his the SEC teleconference today. It's about matchups. Some weeks you have a favorable matchup. Some weeks it's not as favorable. And surprisingly, their matchups, against Tennessee were probably better than what we might have imagined going in, and then it wasn't as good. And I watched South Carolina and Texas A&M, and the matchups that they had, South Carolina was favorable with their defensive line against the Texas A&M offensive line. It was a good matchup for them, and the game reflected that. Yeah, it's just that's what they have to do, Matt, is continue to bolster, continue in, you'd like to get Carmona back another year. You'd like to get, these linemen, another year of development. 22-year-olds do better than, 20-year-olds as far as line play. And you're probably going to lose Landon Jackson, but elsewhere that, they should be continue to develop on both sides of the ball in the lines.
Yeah, Andrew Armstrong's probably gone. Jaquindon Jackson's probably gone. You start looking at some pieces that you got to go. But I have faith in this group because of the success they had from this last portal. I thought they knocked it out of the park if you're looking at the guys that have stepping up and playing, the guys they went out and got. So evaluate talent. And you're exactly right. When it comes to that defensive line, we have to go find a couple guys somewhere. I don't know where you're going to go get them, but we got to go spend some money. Because if you don't have, Clay, you've said this 100 times if you said it once. If you don't have an offensive or defensive line, it doesn't matter who else you got.
Yeah. So what I've seen in the SEC of late, and it's going to continue, and, we're going to have we're going to pay players. They're going to, they're going to have another $22 million, what they call it, share the wealth is what I call it. It's profit sharing or whatever. They're going to continue. Everybody in the SEC is going to continue to raid the other levels of college football, and there's players out there, and I think Carmona is a perfect example. Somebody saying, Jose, when they got somebody like that, you're going to go get them. In the SEC, that's why it's so competitive and it's so fun. I think, that you'll see Taylor Green continue. What I've seen of late, and Scott Tabor is a good friend of mine, my insurance guy, and he knows pitching mechanics. Well, it's the same as throwing. You change the arm slot, it takes a little while for the accuracy to come in. And I think it's finally clicked for Taylor. I think he's been much more accurate in the last several weeks. Even in warm-ups, when I watch him, he's more accurate. You change that arm slot, you've got to get some confidence in it that it's going to repeat and that it's going to do the things that you want without thinking about it. And I've watched Dave Jorn and Matt Hobbs change arm slots through the years, and it doesn't. The one thing, the lower it is, the more movement is going to be.
The more movement that you can't plan for with a football.
Yeah, you don't want that movement on the sidearm with football. It's just going to come out, and it's going to move side to side. The more you go up over the top, but it has to be a repetitive thing that you've done for a long time for you to have confidence in a game. And I don't think that Taylor had it early in the year. I think he has it now. And I listened to Scott Tabor explain arm slot and movement of the ball. He played quarterback. He knows the football mechanics. He knows what the ball does coming out. And, I mean, we're talking with a quarterback, Matt. You explain it. If there's something I'm saying wrong, correct me.
No, you're right on. And I think it's just a comfort level of being in a meeting room and understanding where to go with the ball, because I think as players, I know this was for me, your first year learning an offense, you're still kind of thinking about it. But then halfway through the season, man, there's half that you got it now. And then you start adding a little bit more to it. And I think it was the Mississippi State game where Taylor, you see him look to his left, goes one, looks to his right. I mean, keeps left, but goes to his second receiver, and you see his hips just move a little bit. You see his feet, but he doesn't. What he was doing early was he was after 1-2, he's running. He bends down, flips his hips, and hits Tesla on a 30-yard 7 route. I mean, it was a beautiful thing to watch.
You know, Clay, and I keep hearing you describe about Tabor and Jordan and Hobbs, and I'm thinking, man, I would have been interested to see Taylon Green as a pitcher. 6'6", with those arms and legs and a little bit of a sidearm, three-quarter delivery. Dude, that's a closer right there for you. He could give you the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning and strike out 3 or 4.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Hey, Taylon, let's come over here. Let's work on your two-seamer a little bit. Not for football, okay? I meant for baseball.
Yeah.
All right, we got a break here. We can take calls and texts in the next segment, 877-377-6963. Tonight at Joe's Grilling Cantina is Nacho Average Wednesday. $1 off all nachos. That includes the 3-cheese carnita nachos, and you get $1 off all beers, draft, or bottles. Of course, they're going to have Arkansas basketball on television because they always have Razorback sports on when the Hogs are playing, which includes Saturday football, where there's half-price apps and half-price taps, and $15 pitchers of beer, margaritas, and sangrias, plus $2 Busch Light drafts. Joe's Grilling Cantina, 74th Street, Fort Smith, right across from Harps, and joesfortsmith.com. We'll break on halftime. Back after this.
You're killing me, Smalls.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
There's big news in the mobile sports betting business. Bet Saracen was just named the 15th largest sports book in America. That's because Arkansans like to do business with a winner. Find all your winners on Bet Saracen. Download it today and look for my RR prop bet specials. I pick them, you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Feeling stressed out and ready for a break? Unwind with the De-Stress for Less hot tub sale at Burton Pools and Spas. Melt away your stress with the world's best-selling hot tubs designed to rejuvenate your body and mind. The ultimate relaxation experience is now available at unbeatable pricing. Save up to $7,000. Plus, enjoy free local delivery, installation, and water testing. Treat yourself to pure relaxation with a hot tub from Burton Pools and Spas. At Burton, we don't just sell hot tubs, we build long-term relationships.
This is Halftime.
It's Ty Richardson. We're live at Rainwater's Men's Clothing and Tuxedo Rental, 9700 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Gail, we got spring weddings coming up.
A lot of brides are planning their weddings for spring, and Rainwater's is ready to get them all set up, match up your colors, make all your guys look good. Come to Rainwater's, you get to try it on immediately, and you know that it fits, and we'll take care of you.
When you stop by, make sure to tell Gail and his staff that Ty sent you.
Rainwater's Men's Clothing and Tuxedo Rental, because it's fun to look good.
Walk-Ons is always a win, whether it's for a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner. Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into their mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
Hey everybody, this is Tyson Fan. Dad, tell everyone about your job at Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
Power washing, son. I've been working in the business for over 15 years, all over the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas, residential or commercial. At Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash, our cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more.
Call my dad at 479-763-5561. Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call, cleans it all.
Come see Cody and the gang on Advanced Mechanical Performance. You can find him at 3201 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith. Need repair or service for your ATV or UTV? Advanced Mechanical Performance can do it all, as well as taking care of all of your power sports parts accessory needs. Give him a call today at 434-4161. That's 434-4161. Or stop by 3201 Wheeler Avenue. Advanced Mechanical Performance. It's what you should be striving for.
Precision Garage Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all your garage door needs, including garage door repair and new garage doors and openers. Fully licensed and insured with the largest showroom in Northwest Arkansas at 1907 Town West Drive in Rogers and in Fort Smith at 416 North 10th Street. Call Precision Garage Door today at 844-PDS-DOOR or check them out online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Financing is available. Precision Garage Door, voted Best Garage Door Company of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
They gotta say it. If you're not drinking, then you're not playing. But you got the music, you got the music in you. Don't you? Down on the coast, I get this feeling like it all could happen. That's why I'm leaving you for the moment. You for the moment, boy blue. Yeah, you. I'm feeling so tempted. You say it's me, you say I miss you so much. I think I'm sparing the light on the lotion.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
All right, we got a little issue with Clay's connection. So we can get to your calls, your texts if you want now, 877-377-6963. You know, Matt, I like the conversation about what the team can look like over the offseason and where you'd like to make additions and everything, but I still think that it's up in the air if that happens, and I think that these next 3 games have everything to do with it. Not how you play in a bowl game if you do make it there. I think a lot of it is how you play against your rivals. Look at who you're playing this month. This month of November, you're playing the 3 teams you're going to be playing in perpetuity: Ole Miss, Texas, Mizzou. You got to find ways to win a game against these rivals sometimes, but you can't.
One, two, 1, 2. You hear anything?
Yeah, we're having
now?
a little technical
okay.
issues. It should be they're probably going to reconnect here in a second. But
I couldn't hear Phil. I didn't know if we were on or what was going on.
Having a little Comrex issues, but it should be resolved here in a second. Man.
What do you see, Unit? You know, we were kind of talking about what type of position do we need? What are we looking for when you're thinking the portal's about to be open? I mean, it's about to be here, and hopefully, you know, we play good. I think we will. I think we'll finish stronger these last 3 games than we did last year. But when you start looking down the line and you're like, all right, well, this is what we need. I know yesterday we had a lot of people talk about we need some D-backs. And I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, but yeah, we do. That was our worst D-back game I'd seen. Are we all back?
I got you.
Oh,
now.
there we go.
Yeah, I got
I'm
you.
here too.
Oh, now we're
Eventually,
all back.
all the things will work in the same 3-hour time window. I don't know when that'll happen, but eventually it'll happen. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a weird world. Yeah.
All of a sudden, I was talking. Matt couldn't hear me. I think I was just talking to myself, which I do all day long, except for these 3 hours, so it's okay.
I was doing the same thing.
But we're back now. Everything
Yeah.
appears to be okay. All right.
Yeah. I think that what we've seen in the secondary is fatigue a little bit too. Like if you're playing the same guys an awful lot, you need to be rotating. I think not having Jalen Braxton was a blow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so you go next man. Well, the next man's not quite as good. So you've taken a little bit of a step back. I mean, it's the same thing in any position you want to go in the SEC. There's a reason why you're a starter, and there's a reason why you're a backup. And if you're playing all backups, then you've taken a step back. I think it's looked like Jaden Johnson has gotten a little, like a half a step slower. I mean,
his pursuit angle, his angles to go in he's a step wrong a couple times. He's so tough, and he's really tough and physical. He just doesn't take the proper angle a lot of times.
That happens when you're moving guys around in the secondary. It's like, all right, that's why you see wide receivers line up a little different. Sometimes you've got them bunched tight. Well, they've brought the defensive backs, and then they move them out, and they're trying to get you to be a step off. And that's the whole game that they're playing. And it looks like it's really easy, but it's not.
What I need to see in these next 3 games is that there's leadership on the field that feels like there's something to play for. Last year, they didn't have that at this point of the season, and admittedly, you had the same thing to play for too. I mean, you were a game short of bowl eligibility. You should have been able to go out there and actually play like you cared, but it didn't happen. So, and the first thing Sam talked about in August was who's not on the team kind of helps this year's team. The idea that the locker room is more cohesive, and that's all fine and dandy for the first couple of months, but it can't happen again in November. It can't. You can't have those kind of performances. You can't have a drop the rope kind of performance 2 years in a row in the final month of the regular season. That's him. I love the conversation last segment about what next year's team can look like and where you'd like to go in the portal and all of that. I still think the jury's out.
We're not done. We're not done. And the other part about this is, can you? I've just been with this Comrex hitting reset, reboot. Can you do that during an open day? Can the team, can they hit reboot? Can they, in the coaches? And, I always thought Houston Nutt was really good at resetting the table, resetting the narrative with the team, and holding them together. It was a veteran coach deal. I didn't think Danny Ford was very good at that. I thought Ken Hatfield, that was one of his strengths, without question. Coach Broyles, we'll see. Is this something? Sam's done good in the past in open dates, but every team is different, and in the portal, every team is much different from year to year. So he's got 70 guys that he's going to take to the field. Can he reboot them? Has he pushed the right buttons with all these guys? And it's his coaches too. They're part of it. Are they all able to get these guys reset for this Texas game?
Sometimes those Comrex has line busy too. Is that kind of the same?
I had that.
A little bit opposite of reset. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts on halftime. Drove right past Andy's Frozen Custard on Rogers Avenue yesterday. Anytime you're looking for something sweet, cool, and delicious, Andy's Frozen Custard has you covered with the greatest frozen treats around. You find them on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, East Oak Street and Dave Ward Drive in Conway, and in North Little Rock on JFK Boulevard. Take home a pick 6 for football Saturdays. You mix and match 6 of your favorite flavors. It's the perfect game time treat. Andy's frozen custard, walk up or drive through, always ready to serve you. We'll break, wrap up the second hour of halftime after this.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
This is halftime.
The long wait is almost over, Waldron. Wave Rural Connect will be opening the Waldron Zone for orders November the 18th. If you registered before the 18th, you still need to put in your product order when Waldron opens. Amazing fiber internet and phone, all from a local provider in Ozark, Arkansas, is coming to Waldron. Pre-register online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
AAA Business Systems is your printer, copier, and production print solutions provider. What makes AAA unique? Ricoh, Sharp, and Brother Equipment. Fast, friendly service from our office technology experts. All-inclusive service contracts, managed IT services, and 4 locations statewide. AAA Business Systems. Find us online at AAABM.com. AAA Business Systems. Anything else is just a copy.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
When you need tough and paint just isn't enough, check out River City Coatings in Van Buren. When it comes to your metals, paint can peel and crack over time. Whether it's your patio furniture, rims or trims on your automobile, or heavy equipment, no one has time for a redo. Powder coating provides the toughness you need. Preserve your investment with powder coating from River City Coatings. River City Coatings, certified John Deere, Caterpillar, ISO 9001, Packer, and UL provider of tough. River City Coatings, 471-7675 or online at rivercitycoatings.com.
Catch your wife kissing Santa Claus, whose real name is Bobby from down the street? Want to know your rights in a divorce, custody, child support case? I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions. Call me today to discuss your options. Start the new year off with a new lease on life for you, and let Santa have her. Mock Legal Solutions, 479-769-1505. Real advice, reasonable price.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. I'm talking about the Limbird team. Tara Limbird, Limbird Real Estate Group, has sold over $1 billion in real estate. Tara's team can give you a cash offer in 72 hours, or use Tara's high-octane marketing to sell your home quite possibly for thousands over asking. Find out more at LimbirdTeam.com. LIMBIRD.
Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shop, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. Stop by 7320 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith or call 648-3342. You can also catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
The best things in life never change. They just get better, like Hardee's Original Bag, just $6.99. Loaded with fries, a drink, and 2 full-size favorites. A juicy charbroiled double cheeseburger, melty hot ham and cheese sandwich, or crispy hand-breaded chicken tender wrap. Choose any 2 plus fries and a drink, all only $6.99. Hardee's Original Bag, loaded with handcrafted goodness. It's the greatest meal deal for your buck. Available for a limited time at participating restaurants.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hiding in a place you know that no one ever goes. Keeping the second which you always stay close. I need an act for keeping out of trouble. You know. Oh, I don't know what I'm like, but everybody says you're not the kind that gets out of your head. I keep talking all these crazy country words.
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
So I saw Devin Bale is the Arkansas nominee for the Burlsworth Award. There's another former Razorback who's been nominated, Jackson Woodard at UNLV. He walked on at Arkansas. I'm assuming he's got the he has the scholarship over at UNLV once he transferred. Bale's the only punter that's nominated, and I saw that Missouri nominated their placeholder. He's the only placeholder that is nominated for the Burlsworth Award. So I guess there's also wasn't there a holder of the year? Did our holder, I guess it's a tongue-in-cheek kind of an award. I think the holder last year for Arkansas won this award too. Was that Bale? Was that his job too last year?
It might have been.
Nice little award to get. I don't know if you get a trophy for it. What would the holder trophy be? Would it be like a pair of hands or a hand with a finger on top of it? And that's
gloves.
A pair of gloves.
Yeah, gloves laying on a little platform, a little. My holder of the year was Dow Loggins. Matt, you remember Dow? Dow was your roommate, wasn't he?
Dow's one of the best. He's one of the best people, yeah. But he has the best passing completion percentage for all quarterbacks that have more than one pass at the University of Arkansas. Yeah.
More than one pass. So would he throw two?
That's more. Yeah, that's the
more than one.
Yeah. Yeah, I texted him a congratulations the other night. But yeah, I mean, I think he told me I think he was perfect on holds in his career. That's an important job, and we just don't say much about it until somebody messes one up. I looked at the list all the way down, trying to pick, okay, who's the guy, who's going to win this? Because sometimes it's obvious. I mean, when you had Baker Mayfield, you're just like, well, he's going to win it.
Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, and that was to me pretty obvious. And I looked, and one thing, of course, you can see every team has got their nomination. Alabama didn't nominate anybody. They had no walk-ons.
No kidding.
Yep.
Not even
it's
one
alphabetical.
guy. I thought maybe is this Mizzou's only walk-on, the placeholder? Because I kind of thought it was, I don't know, almost like tongue-in-cheek to nominate the placeholder. But if that's the one walk-on that gets any playing time, well, there you go.
Snapper, holder, yeah, whatever. He's not going to win. I mean, that's my prediction.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to win. Like, wasn't it Schrader last year, the running back
from
Missouri?
he was an obvious choice. There are some really obvious choices, and then there's some years that when Grant Morgan was. I looked across the board. The three finalists is like, well, gosh, any one of these would be deserving, and they're all deserving. I mean, if you're a walk-on and you're playing in college football, then you're deserving. That's you've accomplished something. I interviewed Chris Chalmers for Where Are They Now, and he was a walk-on, got a scholarship, ended up starting the Cotton Bowl against Texas. They played a nickel scheme. They hadn't used a nickel most of the year, and Bobby Allen and Lewis Campbell came up with a new scheme to play against Texas, and that they hadn't seen on film, and it really worked. And he was the starter in the Cotton Bowl, so there's a walk-on that becomes a starter in his last game of the year, which is really a cool story. But any of these guys to make it onto the field as a walk-on is significant.
We're going to our third hour of halftime in just a moment. There are no guests. It is you. It is me, Phil Elson. It is Matt Jones. It is Clay Henry. And Colton Little, C45, will be occupying the producer's chair after the top of the hour break. 877-377-6963 is our number, and halftime is right back.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
COP CDL Academy is a licensed Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration that provides the federal required training to obtain both Class A and Class B CDL licenses. Our program provides assistance with employment after graduation. We have finance and grant options available. Students straight out of class have started new careers earning $70,000 to $140,000 per year, and training is provided for all 50 states. Call today, 479-632-1050. COP CDL Academy.
In the communities we serve, we know your energy is best spent on the things you enjoy. That's why we're helping you save your energy with natural gas. More efficient than other energy sources, save your energy for cheering on the Hogs. Be tailgate ready with your natural gas powered outdoor grill. Enjoy fast, cozy comfort from your natural gas fireplace when ball games get chilly. At AOG, we know your Razorback pride runs deep. Ours does too. And so does our commitment to caring for the communities we serve with always on energy. Visit AOGC.com.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics. Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With the never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
See Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Come get you some. 2728 Townsend Avenue is your off-road and performance center headquarters. They've got everything from lift kits, wheels, LED light bars, UTV parts and accessories, winches and tires. Need general 4x4 repair? No problem. Come get you some has one of the largest 4x4 shops in the States. They do it all, from installing a bug shield to building some of the baddest off-road machines in the country. Call them today at 782-6833. That's 782-MUD. Or check them out online at cgysoffroad.com. Come get you some.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, partly to mostly sunny sky today. A high this afternoon, mid-60s north, low 70s south. We will see an increase in the cloud cover tonight. Could see a few showers as we hit through the overnight across the south. Overnight lows, upper 40s north, mid-50s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell, ready to serve. You're listening to ESPN 95.3. KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
You sound like a participation trophy, Dad.
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect it. Don't ask me if I'm all right. What can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah. Take it to the house.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my heart, dog? Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no mock at halftime.
Even one Razorback is vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Turn it.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Into our third and final hour here on a beautiful Wednesday across the glorious state of Arkansas. Phil Elson, Matt Jones, the one and only Clay Henry with us, and Colton Little is producing the show. Over the next 60 minutes, we are wide open for your calls and texts. 877-377-6963 to get with us here. First basketball game of the season. There's a brand new column up on ESPN about John Calipari, written by Ryan McGee. You're going to have to appreciate his first paragraph here. Quote, Arkansans crave relevancy. They always have. That desire is woven into their DNA, a hunger well-earned, unquote. And he's got a lot of nice things to say about the state of Arkansas and about John Calipari and about the marriage of these two. And, hey, people were pretty excited to see him walk out of that tunnel for the Lipscomb game and for the Kansas exhibition. I wonder if you get, Matt, the same kind of roar that you had from that exhibition here for this first game that actually does matter.
Yeah, it's a school night, so we'll see. But man, I think everybody is excited. It's kind of pinch yourself, and it's here. I mean, you got one of the best college basketball coaches, one of the best motivators. He's done it. He knows what he's doing. Trust the process, so to speak. Yeah, I mean, it's you're looking forward to it.
7 o'clock tip-off, 6:30 for airtime here on ESPN Arkansas. Chuck Barrett and Matt Zimmerman on the call. Couple of other SEC teams are in action today. Auburn hosts Vermont. It'll be Auburn's first game. LSU also opens at home against ULM. And then you're back to action against, Baylor on Friday again in Dallas, which you're jumping up quite a bit, Clay, in terms of competition going from Lipscomb to Baylor.
Yeah, but did you see the Baylor-Gonzaga score? I mean, they smoked. I mean, Gonzaga beat them by 30 or 40. It was not what I was expecting. And back to the
101 to 63.
That's a beatdown. Of course, that's an exhibition. You don't know what's. It's kind of like last year when Arkansas played Texas in the exhibition. You never know what the mindset of one team in an exhibition or the coach and how they prepare and what they're trying to do. And are they working on, rotations? Are they working on, just it could be anything. It's like we just put this in. We're going to see if we can run this in practice. Well, no, in a game. Well, no, we can't. We don't have anything. I was real interested to listen to John Calipari's explanation of what happened, down the stretch against TCU. And then I watched the Jamie Dixon recreation, and he was what they were trying to do execution-wise were things that they'd worked on 3 straight days in practice and really for a week after a poor performance in an exhibition that they were able to do. And there, it definitely gave Coach Cal some things to polish on. And it's late game situations. You touched on them, but you're still putting things in. You don't have guys at practice, so it's like, how do they? You had a team that, okay, what we're trying to do for a while is just get fouled. We're driving. I'm talking about TCU. Then they completely changed, in the last, 6 minutes after being down 13. So we'll see as things go along and they get all their players back. What kind of rotation, what kind of polish do they have? That's what I'm watching for tonight.
Well, I do think there's going to be some choppy moments, but I just expect, and I know we'll be looking for cohesiveness and chemistry and all of that. I'm just kind of interested in the athleticism tonight, and watch that on display, because I do feel like as athletic as some of the teams have been in recent years, this is just it's a bit of a different level that you're facing.
Yep, you're going to be facing a Princeton-like offense. They're gonna be patient. They're gonna be running stuff, for a shot clock to get back cuts. They're gonna shoot some threes, and it's all of this is good. This is good mental preparation for some opponents you're gonna see down the road. But these guys are good. I mean, it will be a competitive situation at points tonight. I think Arkansas will win. But it's I was texting back and forth last night with Dane Bradshaw, and he's excited about what Arkansas has as far as talent. I guess he watched the Kansas game, and it's like when John L. Davis really gets back in gear, you might have the best 3-guard combination in college basketball, but he's not back, at full tilt yet.
Well, and are they the best 3-guard combination because they're ball handlers and they can beat guys one-on-one, or are they the best 3-guard because they know how to play defense, because they know how to get other people open, because they know how to pass? I think of the best guards in the NBA. I look at the Boston Celtics and Drew Holiday, the best defensive guard. Derek White, another defensive guard. Then you got two, and it's probably not fair to compare anybody to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but then you got two dudes that can do everything. But what I'm getting at, Clay, is they play together because there's only one basketball, and you don't want to get this where it's one guard heavy, then he's the only guy that contributes or touches the ball, because you need multiple guys that can handle the ball to win in the tournament.
Well, you mentioned it right at the start. What you can do defensively is the key, and if you get, and they didn't force TCU into anything. I mean, that was where they had the slippage, and that's where you lose. You go from scoring 80 against Kansas to 66 or whatever it was, 65 against TCU. Well, your offense wasn't as good. Well, no, you didn't get the 5 runouts. If you get 5 runouts because of your defense, that's 10 points. It might be 15 points if they foul you, or you shoot a 3 in a runout. So what I've seen is the ability, and I think Phil, you just mentioned the athletic ability. Well, that's what gives you a chance to play defense. That they'll overmatch these guys in half court.
This phrase that McGee used here, Arkansans crave relevancy. I mean, I think –
Sure we do.
But I think the program was relevant under Muss. I think the program was relevant under Mike Anderson. It's just, it's a different kind of relevancy when you bring in on a coach who's already in the Naismith Hall of Fame. There is a different kind of relevancy when Cal is your coach. And that's why it's like when he went over to Kentucky, it's just feeling that, these are the two big brands coming together, right? But I never felt like Arkansas wasn't relevant under Mike Anderson or wasn't relevant under Muss. Muss might have gotten more success in the postseason, certainly, but Coach A had some good teams, some good regular season teams that didn't have the March success. I just feel like there's a different kind of relevancy when you're talking about, John Calipari. That's almost like, bringing on a Saban in a sense.
I'm going to turn that a little bit. Relevancy also is having the best players.
Sure.
When you watched Nick Saban's teams at Alabama, you knew he was a great coach, but what did he have? It was all 5 stars. And what Eric Musselman did in the middle part of his time here is that he brought in some 5 stars. He had 3. He had 3 at one point, didn't he? Mm-hmm. And that makes you relevant. I noticed the difference. I noticed what Anthony Black can do, and it's a different level. And if you got a Ronnie Brewer out there, that's relevancy. When he was 6'8" guard. It's whatever. It's about talent, and that was what Dane Bradshaw said. You're going to see a different level of talent than you've ever seen at Arkansas. And the 94 national championship and in 95 that got to the Final Four, those guys were really talented, but they weren't 5 stars. They were all hits. When you say, all right, here's a 4-star, but it's a hit. He's better than that. He's a 3-star, but he's better than that. You go back to Oliver Miller. He was not highly regarded. He wasn't a 5-star like Darnell Robinson. But when you get guys like that, like a Lee Wilson and Oliver Miller, that's better than how they're rated, it changes things. But this is relevancy that we all know what kind of talent it is, and it is you lick your chops when you walk into the arena because you know what you've got. They are the bluest of blues.
You always know what you're going to get when you go into Crabtree RV Center. If you're looking for an RV for your family's adventures, you're going to be treated perfectly. You're going to be shown exactly what it is that you describe you're looking for. They got the service and parts department on site. You're going to be taken care of at Crabtree RV. You find them in Alma, where I-40 and I-49 come together, right beside the Cracker Barrel. Been doing it for 70 years and 4 generations, and also online at crabtreerv.com. Break on halftime, much more after this.
This is halftime.
Building warriors.
Physical toughness and physicality matter more now than ever before.
Competing for each other.
You can care about the kids and still win.
Upholding the Hawks standard.
Whatever we do, we'll have good people who are driven and wired, knowing that there's an expectation here and not being afraid of it.
This is one of those Razorback moments.
Follow John Calipari at Arkansas on the hardwood all season long.
Right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Deer hunting in the comfort of an enclosed 6x6 Lazy Man fiberglass box blind. It's affordable at Jelco Outdoors. Lazy Man Fat Girl Blinds, built here in Fort Smith with your choice of 6-foot or 10-foot tower blind platforms, starting at $22.99.99. Box blinds are great for taking the kids, with plenty of room and out of the weather. Check out the deer blinds at Jelco Outdoors. Hunt longer in the comfort of a Lazy Man box blind, sold locally at Jelco Outdoors. 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
This is Northside head football coach Felix Curry. I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
Hi, this is Ricky Smith, head basketball coach for the Northside Lady Bears. I dial 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
Football and fall, what a great time of the year. It's also a great time to take advantage of York factory rebates on high-efficiency HVAC products. Give us a call at 782-8940.
That's 782-8940.
With everyday low prices on top brands, locally owned Jaeger's Ace Hardware is committed to offering real service with real savings. Our brand new Barling location is now open at 942 Fort Street. Get these red hot buys at all 5 locations. A 230-piece Craftsman Versa Stack Mechanics tool set, only $99. Milwaukee Select M12 and M18 tools and batteries, also $99. And Ace Reward members get super instant savings on select DeWalt and Craftsman tools and accessories. Find more everyday low prices online at JaegersHardware.com.
Witz Marine, your authorized Mercury dealer, is ready to take care of your winterization needs. With cold weather just around the corner, be sure to get your Mercruiser stern drives drained and flushed with antifreeze. For those with outboards, it's a great time to change the oil and service the lower unit. Plus, treat your fuel for a trouble-free next season. Don't get caught this winter. It's also a great time to repower the old boat with a new reliable Mercury engine. That's Witz Marine, your authorized repower center, 823 North 11th next to Wheeler Power Sports in Fort Smith.
The long wait is almost over, Waldron. Wave Rural Connect will be opening the Waldron Zone for orders November the 18th. If you registered before the 18th, you still need to put in your product order when Waldron opens. Amazing fiber internet and phone, all from a local provider in Ozark, Arkansas, is coming to Waldron. Pre-register online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
TGI Fridays on Rogers Avenue, Fort Smith has an incredible lineup for their meal deals. This includes crispy chicken fingers for only $9.99, served with seasoned fries and coleslaw. Whiskey glazed chicken slammers, $10.99. Buffalo chicken slammers, $10.99. Grilled salmon for $15.99. And Friday's big ribs for $14.99, all served with a side and fountain drink. Don't miss out on their happy hour, karaoke on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and 50-cent wings on Monday. TGI Fridays, I-540 and Rogers Avenue, Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Stay home.
feel good. Looking at the peace and flow. Shivers in my spine.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
And Hall of Famer Clay Henry with us here on Halftime. Hall of Honoree Matt Jones and me. Clay, I don't think I can refer to you any longer as the senior columnist at hitthatline.com, can I?
Kraft for letting me write. I think I wrote 30 columns. I went back and counted them a day or two ago, and that's kind of got my juices flowing. And Brent Powers, who's president of Northwest Arkansas Media, the Waco property, Northwest Arkansas Democrat Gazette. He and I remained friends. They wanted me back, and we worked out something, and so I'm back with them. I'm going to write they've named me features editor for the Hog Sports Network, and that's Hogs Illustrated, Northwest Arkansas Democrat. I mean, it's all the properties of Waco, but I want to write features and columns, and I'll continue to write the Where Are They Now at Hogs Illustrated. I'll do some projects for them. It's just going to be a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and an awful lot of fun. I'm trying to keep from overdoing it. I was burned out, about 2 years ago, publishing magazines, deadlines, managing people. Everybody just thought, well, I was a writer. No, it was the business side, all of those things that are required when you are in control of a complete project. I just couldn't do it anymore. I needed to pause, needed to get away, and but what I really love to do, aside from spending time with you guys on the radio, is to sit down at my laptop and write, and that's what they want me to do.
Sounds like the bug never left to begin with. So
probably not.
No,
yeah, I'm a writer. That's my passion. Storyteller probably is what I do. I got tickled this morning. I said, well, I'm going to tell a story, and Bo and Chuck both like, uh-oh, there went that segment.
It was asymptomatic.
No, it's in my genes.
Yeah, your bug was in there. It just wasn't contagious for a year.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I enjoyed your column this morning that you were kind of announcing your re-arrival, your return to what is it called? Hogs Sports Media
Network.
Correct?
And it's
Whole
Hog Sports is where most of my stuff's going to be, and that's where it is right now as a column. But I'll continue to write Hogs Illustrated, but the newspaper will pick up some things if they want to.
Well,
I probably write some outdoors. That's why I say features. There's sometimes I write takeout pieces.
What I appreciated though from that column, and I've known this from the start, it just kind of dawned on me while I'm reading it. When the three of us are together here, Matt Jones, me, and you, we get three people who grew up around a father that you ended up going into that same industry that he did. Like, my dad's a dentist first and foremost. Nobody needs to have my hands in their mouth. But he's an actor and a performer, and he was a radio host. And I mean, that's how I got interested in doing radio, was because he was there doing radio at KDK in Pittsburgh for 4 years, and I would go join him as an unpaid 12-year-old assistant. Matt, you grew up with a father that was a coach. I mean, so that
and an athlete.
Yeah, that's right. So it was like, did you go to practices with your dad when he was coaching?
Well, both my parents were teachers,
Yeah.
and so you can't really afford a babysitter on teacher salary, so that was the babysitter. I've been on the sidelines since I was 2 years old, and that was part of it. So I grew up going to two-a-days, going to camp, doing all that. But that's what I wanted to do.
Or in the gym, yeah.
Well, in being a teacher, my favorite time of school, my dad always got to school early. He got to school an hour before school. He got to school an hour before it started. He would just go unlock the gym, turn the lights on, lock the door back for an hour before school every day. I got to go shoot in the gym every day.
Is there anything better than that? Maybe doing it after school's over, potentially, maybe 6 in the morning. But hey, if you're going to do it, why not 6 in the morning?
Right. And you know me with my social anxiety, it's not like I want to be around people anyways, you know?
You didn't even need anybody returning the ball for you.
Exactly.
I didn't need that either. Couldn't practice baseball alone, though. It just doesn't work very well. I tried that a few times, but the neighbors would get pissed at me because I was throwing a baseball against their little retaining wall that held the front yard in. So they didn't let me do that too often afterwards. But I mean, that influence for me, it wasn't like I was drawn to radio before my dad got in it, but it was him being in radio that I could kind of go and see, oh, this is what this is like. This feels intoxicating. Can you imagine, Matt, that you thought that there'd be anything else you ever did other than, play sports?
Well, I was lucky. I'd moved to, I'd guess, with Bo Mattingly and being buddies, I'd went and did an hour or so radio with him, I think a couple times when he had his old show, then went to Little Rock and was able to sit down with David Basil, and they gave me my opportunity, him and Acree and all that, and lucky to get into it. And once you get into it, it is intoxicating. It's like you either say something really stupid on air to get fired or you die. That's how you lose your job in the radio,
And then, we can say some stupid things sometimes. And
I got a little time, yeah.
You just pile them up until you get to the threshold. But then, like Clay, I appreciated in your column about like the idea of the intoxication of what it is that you're doing, and you know that this is what you want to do. Seeing your byline for the first time, and then missing your byline when you weren't writing any longer. I mean, that was part of it, right?
No question. And I can remember bringing the school newspaper home, the Tiger, Little Rock Central, and there's my byline, and my dad looks and says, he just pointed to it and says, "You like that?" I said, "Well, yeah." And he goes, "There's nothing better, except it gets better when they pay you to put your byline in there." And he says, I did it for free. He went down and volunteered at the Arkansas Gazette when he was in high school. I mean, and pretty soon they pay you. But he said it is a rush to see your name and have people read it and talk about what you've written. It's a rush, and it won't ever go away. And he was right.
Like the thing for me, it's like so Matt, you're talking when your dad would go to school early and he'd just open the gym and you'd go in there for an hour and you could just shoot and be yourself and be alone and be very happy with that. If my dad took me to the radio station on the weekends and he did a 2-hour show that was 6 to 8 in the evening. Now I could, if I chose, stay in the producer's room, answer phones, bring up guests, and be an unpaid employee. But I could get bored with that sometimes. And so this was where it was really the intoxication of it. Was walking around an empty radio station. It'll be full 2 days later on a Monday with the news gathering and everything else that's going on there. But on these days, it was just one person that was in there. It could walk around the whole station and just kind of peek in the morning show's desk. There's the news guy that I hear in the morning sometimes. And oh, by the way, it looks like he picks his nose half the time that he's awake. This is where the station actually has the transmitter and everything and all these flashing lights. That to me was the intoxication.
There was a time I was in the Butterfield Old Gym, and just like you said, peeking in the desk, they had all the scorebooks for the last 30 years of games, and so I'm looking in the scorebooks, and guess who I see? Van Buren Butterfield versus Russellville Cyclones. Corliss Williams dropped 31 on them. Yeah, so I thought that was the cool. They had the Corliss Williams stat line handwritten in one of those books, and you never forget stuff like that.
I guess I was probably about 12 or 13, and on Saturdays would go to the Gazette building with my dad, and the boys club was just a few blocks away, and just walk down Main Street to the boys club across from the Presbyterian Church, and goof out there for a few hours, and I would come back, and he's still working, and somebody would come over and say, "Well, we're going to put you to work," and I'd file pictures. This is back when all the photography was they were 8x10 black and white prints, and I learned their filing system and filed all those filed pictures and every once in a while I'd stick it in there like a Broyles picture in the Broyles file, and I just open it up and there'd be 80 pictures, and you just sit there and you go, wow. Or pictures of Billy Moore, pictures, I'm 12. I'm just a kid. And then when I turned 16, I started working down there. That wasn't what I thought I was going to do, but it was a way to make money to go to college.
Kind of interesting because maybe there would have been a part of me that would have been intoxicated of being inside a dental office and watching all the excitement of working in there. Like all the things my father does and still does. It doesn't do radio anymore, but he still is a stage actor, screen performer, and all of that. And that's intoxicated. That feels incredibly good. I haven't been on stage in probably 25 years, but I remember what that felt like, and it was an amazing feeling. Sticking your fingers in people's mouths and fixing cavities, especially with little kids and all of that, I did not find that to be incredibly interesting.
Don't you think that's a hard job? I mean, when I look at it, I've got a lot of really close friends that are dentists.
I love dentists. It's a pretty important position in life.
But it seems to me that it is a hard job, and it is, you don't want to hurt people, but you know that, there's a little bit of pain involved in dentistry, isn't there? I mean, that's just the way it is.
Well, it's like my parents always told me you can chase your dreams. Go ahead and follow your dreams. They weren't upset that my dream was not to take over my father's dental practice. They seemed to be pretty fired up that the idea was I'm going to go into sports radio and try to create a career out of that. It was a little bit more fun for me. I don't think my dad had that choice, though. So he felt forced into the medical fields, and I think there were a lot of kids that felt that way. So I guess that's kind of how we got interested in the things that we do here professionally on Halftime. 877-377-6963 if you want to hit anything about that with us. Sam Pittman spoke earlier this morning on the SEC teleconference. We'll hit on some of that right after this on Halftime.
Show me the money.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
Hey, Arkansas. Are you feeling lucky? Because the Lotto jackpot is seriously over $4 million right now. A jackpot this high won't last long. And this one is only one in Arkansas. Some lucky player could be buying the winning ticket right now. Play twice a week for your chance at a life-changing jackpot. Tickets start at only $2. Don't miss Lotto. Only in Arkansas. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check you have a full tank of gas first before road tripping through the desert.
Empty? Seriously? Maybe I can walk.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Maybe I can't.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You're listening to Halftime live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Hey, this is Dr. Charlie Liggett at River Valley Smile Center. You may know me as your local dentist, but I'm a giant Hogs, Dolphins, and college baseball fan as well. Listen to me, Phil, and Matt talk about our 3 ups and downs for the weekend every Monday on Halftime at 12:15. At River Valley Smile Center, we're a comprehensive dental facility that offers children's dentistry, dental implants, sedation, whitening, and much, much more. Dr. Cole Johnson, Dr. Hannah Cabe, and myself are located at 8309 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith. River Valley Smile Center. When you come here, you become family.
Walk-ons is always a win, whether it's for a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner. Walk-ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into their mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salad. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
When you need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Are you in the market for a new office printer or multifunction device? Look no further. At Dixie Digital Imaging, we bring a legacy of experience and a rock-solid reputation. Our state-of-the-art solutions are tailored to meet your business needs seamlessly. Why settle for anything less? Call us now at 479-783-6600 to get a quote on your next office printer or multifunction device. Elevate your office efficiency with Dixie Digital Imaging, where experience and reputation meet excellence. That's Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
Call the Hogs with Razorback women's basketball this season for exciting matchups inside the Basketball Palace of Mid-America, Bud Walton Arena.
All the changes we've had, the one thing that stayed really same is I'm going to coach them as hard as I'm going to love them.
Experience great family fun and entertainment by cheering on the Hogs along with the Hog Wild Band, cheerleaders, dance team, and mascot. Carly inside, up with the ball, fouled, and won. Tickets start at just $5 at ArkansasRazorbacks.com.
Presented by Sharp Equipment. Check out the new Wacker Newson ST45 at Sharp Equipment. It's bigger, bolder, and is ideal for lifting and loading. The vertical path lift arm allows for easy load placement in demanding applications where reach and height is a requirement. For compact, heavy equipment with a great deal of power, visit them and check out the new Wacker Newson lineup at Sharp Equipment, 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or call them at 479-242-1406.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Don't act so special. What I do is not for you. Forget about it. You made this mess up. Now get your door. Don't you ignore. Forget about it. Got you running in circles. Get your paws off the torch.
Back into halftime live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
877-377-6963 for calls and texts on halftime. Still have Hall of Famer Clay Henry with us here on our home stretch of halftime today. And we got Rod, who's giving us a call on I-40. Hey, Rod, how you doing today?
Not bad. It's a beautiful day for a little drive. I've enjoyed the nose picking and the intoxication, all that. And you and I'm going to be a dentist, but it could be worse. You could be a truck driver or like a proctologist.
I don't know. I mean, it's a matter of what it is you enjoy doing. You seem to like your job.
I know. How did I get the feeling when he said a little drive? His definition of it is a little bit different than mine.
Oh, shoot, only 460 miles a day and 3 crossing, no big deal.
Yes, now you could do that in your sleep, but please don't.
I do that in my sleep. It feels like it. I had a question. Do you think we fired up too many threes at the end of the TCU game instead of taking good shots?
I don't know. I mean, I wasn't able to watch the game. I couldn't even. I listened to some of it. I didn't. I do not know if they put up too many threes in that ball game. I couldn't get my eyes on it.
Don't put up too many threes when you're making them, but I don't think the percentage was with it that much. We've got too many guys that are good in the paint. I think we should have went a little deeper on them, firing up a little bit. We had several threes, and I'm like, come on, guys, just go in and put it in the hole, you know?
I didn't want to make too much. We didn't want to make too much of the win over Kansas an exhibition. I don't think we want to make too much of an exhibition loss to TCU either. But yeah, hopefully it's not going to be a bunch of jacking up threes when you got a lead on the road in the what would be the fourth quarter of a basketball game.
Yeah, I just don't want to get to be a habit, you know, that they might repeat again, panic and go to threes. Okay. Cal's much too good a coach for that. He knows.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all I got.
Thank you, Rod. Appreciate your call.
Well, Coach Cal simply said they needed to learn some lessons about how to win a game. I mean, there's times when, you know, the clock's your ally. There's times when it's not. But but it's, it was a 13-point lead, and then there was a timeout, and TCU changed their focus, and and they missed a couple of shots that weren't threes. He said there was some layups and some, there's some other misses, but there's, they will focus on the things that are right for each player, and right now they're probably still identifying roles, and they've got some young players and they got some veteran players, and they got some guys that hadn't played yet that are going to be factors that do know how to win a game in crunch time. I think Jonas Adu, he's won games. He knows what's important in the last 5 minutes of a game.
All right, I wanted to switch back over to football here because I meant to bring this up with you earlier. Sam Pittman was on the teleconference this morning. All that I know that he spoke about, because I haven't been able to listen to it yet, is health for Taylon Green, sprained knee, and Jaquindon Jackson, sprained ankle. Don't know about their availability for next weekend against Texas. But, there was his comment after the Ole Miss game about needing to pay attention to their alignment, or maybe giving off some clues to opponents as to what the defensive call is. And it seems like, I know, Clay, you were in on the teleconference today, that he did address that a little bit.
Yeah, in watching the game, it was obvious to me that Ole Miss wasn't trying to play fast. They were trying to line up fast, and Arkansas, I think, showed their hand too quickly and allowed Ole Miss to change their personnel. They moved them around and got the matchups that they wanted. In other words, we're ready to snap the ball. Well, then you've got to get in your defensive alignment. So the Arkansas focus was to play fast. Unfortunately, they showed, their alignment. They showed their coverage. They showed their personnel, how they were going to cover. And then Ole Miss changed it. Said, okay, if that's where you're going to play that guy, we're going to move this guy here. We're going to get our matchup, because they threw it to their tight end and to one wide receiver almost every play.
And they were wide open in many cases.
Yeah, or not always, but they were some. There were about 3 or 4 passes I thought the coverage was good, and Dart dropped a dime. I mean, it was next level, top end performance by Dart in certain situations, but they got the matchups they wanted. Arkansas has to disguise things and be a little better at being able to change at the snap instead of just lining up and saying, here we are. And I think that's what, and Sam talked about that there were some things that they need to fix. And you have to disguise your coverage so it's not just so obvious that that the offense can pick the matchups. And I thought Arkansas did a good job with 3 deep coverage, over the top. They against Tennessee, they didn't do that. They got spread a little thin and were sometimes you just got to make the other team run it. Just make them run it. It's like we're gonna drop enough guys. But it was, to me, a reaction to what happened against LSU, where they said we're going to drop and cover, and LSU kind of nickel and dimed them all the way down the field. We're going to throw everything underneath if you're going to back off our guys. And so they lined up tighter against Ole Miss, and they got burned. And they got the matchups, and maybe they needed to let them throw it underneath a little bit more. You cannot get beat over the top ever. I mean, that's don't give up the big play over the top. And I like to talk football with the old masters, and talking with Coach Horton one day about what did they do well all those years at UCA when he was winning championships and never losing to an Arkansas team. And he says, we did not get beat over the top. I told my defensive backs, if you get beat over the top, you will not play again. And he said, I had one guy that got beat over the top in a game, and at halftime he packed up and left because he didn't think he was ever going to play again. And he says, I probably overstated that a little bit, but guess what? The message got through. His guys did not get beat over the top. And that they have to fix that. And if they're given a tell that shows a coverage where they can be easily targeted with tight coverage over the top, then they have to change that.
Clay, when's the last time somebody's came in and just gave an individual performance like that receiver from Ole Miss? Because I think back to some teammates I had, Ken Hamlin, Tony Bua. That wouldn't happen. No, so some guy that's not going to play. I mean, it's not like he's a 5-star dude that's going to play on Sundays.
Yeah.
I don't know that he. I mean, we made him look like an absolute all. That's kind of on the players a little bit.
So now you're talking about NFL players, and
yeah.
You know, and I we'll go back and talk about the speed that bunch of defensive backs that you know your teammates, and that was one of the things that I really thought Houston Nutt did well. And when you're talking about Batman Carroll and
Eddie
Lawrence
Jackson,
Richardson,
all
Eddie
those guys
Jackson,
run 4.3s, yeah.
David Barrett, and they could turn and run.
Chris Houston, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean Deron Moss, same thing. I mean he ran 4.32.
Lawrence Richardson, yeah.
Yeah, I mean 100-meter champion at Texas Relays.
So we missed Barrett. I mean, we missed our strong safety because those teams you had a safety, and I don't think people realize what the safety does. He makes up for mistakes, and so anytime there's a mistake, he makes up for it and stops explosive plays. And whenever you lose your strong safety, man, it's tough to replace him.
I think you're right. But they can do a little better job of that. Now they're about to face another team that has elite speed. Texas has it, and they're going to be targeted over the top. If you see a tape like that, Matt,
well,
what
Texas
are you
has
do?
a couple dudes that can go.
Yeah, but what are you going when you roll out the next three? Even Louisiana Tech, they're going to try to throw over the top. It's like that's the way to beat those guys until they back up a little bit, like they played against LSU. So I think it was an overreaction by Arkansas based on the LSU. We're not going to let them just throw underneath us and all that. Well, you got to, there's a balance. Everything that you do, there's a balance to it. When I write a story, there better be balance. You don't want to just attack somebody, and you don't want to just write a soft story. You need to. So they've got to have a balance in how they cover things in the back end.
I still in my mind, I'm like going back to the Tennessee game, and I understand the idea that you're facing a much less experienced quarterback in that game. But I think they disguised things fairly well with their alignments and where pressure was coming from and who was coming up to the line of scrimmage to help with the run. And is it a matter of the more experienced quarterback knows what he's looking at compared to what Iamaleava might have thought he saw that day?
I didn't think Tennessee used the middle of the field much. They put those receivers outside the numbers. Their whole deal is we're going to spread you out, and then we're going to run it right there. Well, then they couldn't run it. They got the look they wanted. Arkansas was playing sometimes a 3-1, and they'd hand off all at once. All those back end guys are closing it down, and they're getting 2 and 3 in some penalties. Ole Miss didn't make mistakes like Tennessee did. Tennessee's offense, whether it be procedure penalties, holding penalty, they beat themselves. In Arkansas didn't give up any big plays. So like we're going to play 3. They played cover 3 in the over the top, 3 guys, and they had underneath coverage too. And that should have been a look that Tennessee could have run the ball against, but their offensive line didn't do that, and they didn't ever hit a big play. Well, I guess they did in a running game. They had a running game play that was big.
So it's a good week for a bye then, right? Not just to get some of your more important players healthy, but to clean up. However you're calling, however you're aligning, however it is you're lining up, because good offense is going to take advantage of that, and you're facing. Well, I mean, I used to think Mizzou was a good offense. I'm not sure how good they'll be if they don't have Brady Cook, but Texas certainly can take advantage. That's right.
Yeah, I mean it's so you do a self scout. That's what they're doing, and you fix some things. But I think that Ole Miss did a great job of scouting. They had some time to prepare for Arkansas. It was a big game for them, and. They got the matchups that they wanted and then executed in a way that I haven't seen a quarterback again, when you go back, I think Sarkisian did a good job of game planning against Barry Odom a few years ago. But they had open guys, but their quarterback kept missing. And, that's part of the game, throwing and catching.
Arkansas and Lipscomb tonight, 7 o'clock tip, 6:30 airtime. We got the Razorbacks minus 14 right now on the Bet Saracen app, plus all other sorts of prop bets involving Arkansas basketball. Arkansas to reach the SEC tournament final. Boogie Flan to win the SEC Freshman of the Year award. Arkansas to beat A&M, Texas, and Ole Miss in the regular season, plus many more available sporting events to put some money on your Bet Saracen app. You got it on your Apple iPhone because you downloaded from the App Store. Got it from Android because you went to Google Play, and you can always go to a web browser. It works there too, betsaracen.com. We'll break. We'll wrap halftime up right after this.
I'll be back. This is halftime.
The long wait is almost over, Waldron. Wave Rural Connect will be opening the Waldron Zone for orders November the 18th. If you registered before the 18th, you still need to put in your product order when Waldron opens. Amazing fiber internet and phone, all from a local provider in Ozark, Arkansas, is coming to Waldron. Pre-register online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey and Hole Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey and Hole have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit KevinHickeyLaw.com or give them a call today, 479-434-2414. Hickey and Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Greatness doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, focus, and dedication. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that because we put in the hard work and dedication for decades. And that commitment is paid off with award-winning customer service for your auto, home, and life insurance.
See Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Arkansas Fuel Injection in Fort Smith has been providing quality work for all new and rebuilt diesel pumps and injectors for over 25 years. They are a certified diesel shop with a team of quality technicians that ensure the highest quality workmanship and warranties all their work. They are open Monday through Friday 8 to 5 and has emergency service available 24 hours a day. For all your diesel pump, fuel injection, and parts need, stop by Arkansas Fuel Injection, 6300 South 29th Street, Fort Smith. Call them today at 1-800-817-7709. Arkansas Fuel Injection.
Looking for a healthcare provider that truly listens to you? At Elite Wellness and Aesthetics, their team of nurse practitioners offer personalized healthcare with their in-house labs. Get fast results. Elite Wellness goes beyond just treating symptoms. Their holistic approach addresses the root causes of your well-being. Whether it's preventative care, illness, or exploring natural treatments, your health journey begins with Elite Wellness and Aesthetics. Call 479-242-9355 for your appointment or visit FortSmithElite.com. Elite Wellness and Aesthetics, getting to know you inside and out.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
You never know what you will walk up on or find over the hill at the Tackle Box. For almost 50 years, the Tackle Box has been your home for hunting and fishing supplies and some of the best outdoor stories. Whether guns, ammo, fishing supplies, or home decor, come back and see them again. They even buy your old fishing tackle or guns. The Tackle Box, your sports store for hunting, fishing, firearms, and more. 3001 Street, Fort Smith, 646-3193.
The adventure starts at the Tackle Box for sportsmen just like you.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Teenage diplomat. The dogs with the moss at the endless blowing his way into his hair. Shoulder feeling Caterpillar, I ship from merry-go-round. Stephen Weaver from the Calliope crash to the ground.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Patrick Mahomes not limited in practice. Says he's eager to test that sore ankle. What else we got here in the NFL? The Browns general manager Andrew Berry was non-committal would be the word when asked about Deshaun Watson's standing with the franchise. Could you release the guy with how much money is left on the contract? I know he won't play for the rest of the year, but it's got to be like $180 million. Could you just release him, let him go? Because he's not very good.
Him and Bobby Bonilla.
Well, I don't know if Bonilla was ever released with $180 million on the contract. That's the crazy.
Lot.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That's the craziness of it. I think there have been a couple of pitchers out there that they had a lot of money left on their contract, and the team was just like, "Nah, we'll pay you $70 million so that you never have to show up here ever again." You know, like buyouts for college football coaches.
Like
sometimes.
your boy David Justice in Moneyball. Talking about soda money?
Oh, gosh. People think that Moneyball ended up killing the Oakland Athletics. No, it's not Moneyball that killed them. It's the greed of the owner that killed them. Clay, did you see they took the name Oakland off the team. They're not even calling them the Sacramento Athletics. They're just the Athletics. That's it. They don't have a home, apparently. Even when they're listed, you know how you usually go with the three initials for a city, like STL or OAK or DAL. They're just going to be they're just going to be ATH. They'll be like the high school five-schooler, the five-star player that doesn't know what position he's going to play. But
so
he knows.
When you write your story, you'll say the team formerly known as the Oakland Athletics, kind of like Prince, the artist formerly known as Prince.
Yeah, but I think there's a very specific sort of outline of a figure that the Oakland fans would probably like to portray outwardly towards the ownership. Prince's figure had a little bit more to do with the signs of men and women. Men and women can all we all know the single finger salute. That would be the logo for Oakland fans that are ticked off at the A's ownership.
Yeah, it's. I mean, Oakland's got a sad sports history, and it just is going to continue.
Well, the Atletico Madrids, they take on the Paris Saint-Germains today in the Champions League. You get Inter Milan versus Arsenal, Bayern Munich versus Benfica. Champions League today.
So do you have favorites in this? Who's going to win?
You know, Harry Kane plays for Bayern Munich. Benfica would be a smaller school, like it's a Portuguese place. You know, you start thinking Inter Milan and Arsenal. That's a coin flip game.
Which is the name of the Portuguese team? I like that team name.
Yeah, Benfica.
Benfica.
And then you might like this name too. Red Star Belgrade plays Barcelona.
So Benfica would be more like a group of five program?
Yeah, no L. It'd be like Boise State. There you go. Benfica would be Boise State. Bayern Munich would be LSU.
Well, you got Maction today, too. My brother-in-law's Western Michigan Broncos have a chance to get bowl eligible with a win today. It'd be big for a MAC school. It'd be very big for a MAC school. Clay, appreciate you coming on as always, man. Looking forward to doing it again next week. And congratulations on the new gig, which is sort of like the old gig.
I'm a full-time employee again.
That's right. With expectations and bosses and everything once again.
Not too many bosses, yeah.
Well, you're just a boss. So is Matt Jones.
Sheenan's the boss of me.
Well, that's halftime today. We appreciate you listening. Ruskin and Zach are coming up in just a moment. And, of course, the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast will be coming out very soon, too. We want to thank Eastside Liquor for sponsoring our daily podcast. And they've signed up again for another year. So I guess that means you guys are downloading and listening. We'll do this all again tomorrow. For Matt Jones, Christian Johnston, Colton Little, Clay Henry, I'm Phil Elson. That's halftime. Now get up, get out, and get better.
Fall is here, and that means cooler weather, football, and family, which makes